Howdy, howdy.
Good morning.
Good evening.
G'day.
Oh, good day.
Hey.
There we go. That's what we need.
We got them all. We covered all the time zones. It's very good to see y'all, and welcome to a special episode of 700 Plus and Counting Down with our awesome special guest, Dave Mack. Welcome, Dave Mack.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on, and I'll let Lindy do some more introductions here because it is Australia Day, and so this is a special day for Lindy and Dave. So
Yeah, and honestly, I'm a terrible Australian because I really don't know what Australia Day is. I just know it's a public holiday, so that's all. So maybe you can enlighten us. But anyway, it's lovely to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be on. I'm not a good historical buff either. So yeah, and having been away from Australia for almost 19 years now, I didn't even remember it was Australia Day today. I don't remember it's Christmas Day because that's a normal day for work in Japan. So everything's kind of bleeding together now into just it's work days because Japan people are workaholics. But it's great to be on with you guys. It's really fantastic to be here, and I cannot believe we are in 2025 already.
right?
And at the end of January.
January's gone. I know. It's ridiculous.
Right?
Yeah.
11 months left of the year.
Carnivore time goes quick, doesn't it? Because all this energy and focus, it's just like we're plowing through things efficiently, and before you know it, we're burning years now.
Right? Yeah. It's it's crazy. But yeah, carnivore's been good to me over the last couple of years, and I guess same for you guys, right?
Oh, for sure. Well, first of all, I can tell you, I wouldn't have made it this far without carnivore. I don't think I'd be here, like legitimately.
None of us.
Yeah.
None of us would.
None of us.
So we are living on borrowed carnivore time right now, to be honest with you.
Right. It just feels like you get to a point in your life where whether it's about weight or pain or something, or everything combined, you just get to the point where you're feeling like the wheels are falling off. That's it. It's just downhill from here. I'm just living out the rest of my life as best I can.
My wheels fell off like 25 years ago.
Right. And yeah, and it's crazy. We live for that long. Like 25 years that's quarter
Half
of a
my life.
century.
Quarter
of a century. And like you're just feeling like, oh well, I'm just, make the best of it. And then you realize, well, it never needed to be that way.
No,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, you bring up such a good point, and you might know that better than anybody because you've done over 1,000 carnivore interviews now, right?
Over 900. Yeah.
900.
Getting closer to that 1,000 mark.
That's awesome. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see if you'll put me on. I'll try to be number 1,000. It'd be funny.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah. Please come on.
But it would have been better if I would have started at 1,000 pounds, and I could have been the 1,000 pounds, 1,000. I didn't get that far gone. But I'm so happy to have you on because it's so crazy how many times, because me and Lindy also moderate in the Steak and Butter Gang, and all the time people ask, has anybody ever seen somebody get better from X, Y, or Z condition on carnivore? And my first thing is, let me go look at Dave Mack's interviews, and I'll come back and I search your interviews because you're kind of the archive to see if there's any success stories on it,
Well, that's one of the things that has been quite fulfilling for me actually over the last, and it's happened more and more often over the last 3 or 4 months, is people just send me an email and say, do you have an interview with this condition? And I'll go and I'll have a look through the transcripts and I'll send them a couple of links. And it's like, this is really cool that I can do this,
Yeah. You're like an anecdotal epidemiology archive. So it's awesome. It really is. But that's why it's great to meet you, because I've searched your channel, searched your videos 100 times when people ask, do you know of anybody, getting relief from this or carrying that? And I'm like, well, I know where your stuff, you've had so many interviews, your stuff is a great resource to find somebody that has information on it or a story about healing it or getting relief from it. And so the work you're doing is awesome, and it's greatly much appreciated and much valued by all of us in the carnivore community. So I want to say thank you for that, for sure.
Cheers.
Yeah.
And do you know there's actually a really easy way to search through for a particular condition? There's a website out there, because YouTube search is pretty rough, right?
Yeah.
There's a website out there called filmot.com, filmot.com. And using that website, you can enter a keyword and search on any channel through the transcripts.
Wow.
Right. So
Yeah.
like, let's say you wanted to see, has Dave done an interview with someone with, I don't know, pick some arthritis, right?
Yeah.
Which will be a lot,
All of
but
them.
arthritis, right? So you type in arthritis, you choose my channel name, and it'll throw up every video where
wow.
the guest mentions that. So yeah,
That's incredible. Definitely. I'm definitely going to be using that in the future, because the old fashioned way of going to your video, searching your titles and then trying to search descriptions is rough.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. YouTube does seem to have been designed that they just want to really focus on the recommendation side of videos rather than the, search and find.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I was going to see if you would let us interview you a little bit and have you tell your story first. And then I was going to pick your brains a little bit about your interviewing style and have some questions about your interviews, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, yeah, for anybody that's been under a rock in the carnivore community, you want to fill them in on who you are and what you do and how you found carnivore.
Yeah, sure. So I found carnivore kind of by accident. I'd gone over to keto to fix two problems. First was, or try and fix two problems. First was reverse prediabetes. Second was to get rid of a dependency on alcohol. And a few weeks into keto, I realized that I was not having a good time because of the plants I was consuming on that keto. Like, I was having some non-starchy veggies with every meal, and it was like I was still of the mindset that I need vitamin C from the veggies. So I was using the highest vitamin C kind of veggies that I could research. And the issue with those was that it was causing me to be in the bathroom pretty much straight after every meal. And obviously no one wants to be in that situation. And I hadn't experienced this before. And I've been keto, Atkins on and off over the last 20 odd years. So I took to the internet to try and work out what was going on. And I found some videos. One of them was like a Canberra video talking about the particular vegetables I was eating, like causing gastric distress. And then he went on to talk about how if you just eat meat, or you just eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, you'll be fine. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll give this a go. So it was a matter of just cutting out the veggies. I wasn't married to them anyway. I was only eating them because I thought I needed to.
Yeah.
So yeah, cut them out, and the rest is history. I just went, okay, well, this is great. I'm not in the bathroom every 5 minutes anymore.
Right.
And it works. I feel great. And it was like, would have been about 3 months in, and I started to notice that things were really changing. Like, there's the initial things, like with any time you go keto, your energy improves, your sleep improves. There's all the kind of standard things that happen when you get poison out of your diet. But 3 months in and going into 4 months in, the arthritis in my left knee disappeared. just the clarity that I had thinking about things was so much better. The skin conditions, like the eczema that I always had, was going away. The big thing for me was I noticed that I had balance improvements and strength improvements. And this was really weird because I had a hemorrhagic stroke when I was 17 years old. And from 17 to, what would I have been then? 48, 47, 48. I had seen basically no improvement. Like there's an improvement for 6 months and then nothing, then you're basically stuck with whatever improvement you got. And then I started to get these balance improvements now, and I was walking better, and I was getting more flexible and more strong, and my reaction times on my right-hand side were getting better. And so it's just like carnivore helped with everything. And so from that point, I was just like, okay, I've got to talk about this. And so that's how the channel came to be.
That's awesome. And so I'd like to highlight that a little bit more too, because it's something all of us here experience too. It is funny because, how did you decide what was, because you kind of touched on it there, but you decided, man, I really need to get this message out there. So what happened to us? Like you want to scream it from the rooftops because you're like, I just captured a genie in a bottle here. Like this is the only magic pill that I've ever seen that worked, Yeah.
So I was just like, I just feel so good. And it was realizing that things that I never thought would improving, and the wheels weren't falling off anymore. I wasn't now entering the final stage of my life or whatever, and just knowing that, I was like, okay, well, I've got to get the word out there. But I thought, it's going to be, 10 people will see my videos,
right?
And most of them will be friends and just pity views, and it's just a couple of videos I put out there. They took off, and I realized, wow, there's lots of these people. And the thing that made me go, okay, I need to keep making these, is when I made a video and talked about the stroke and how things improved, so many people were commenting on that video and saying, me too, that happened to my wife too, me too.
Wow.
Me too, me too. And it was like, there's so many people out there experiencing this and improvements with stroke symptoms. I need to talk about this more. And that's what kind of motivated me to keep going.
Could you elaborate on that? What were the symptoms of what were your stroke symptoms, and how did they improve, and how quickly did they improve?
Sure. So following the stroke, my right-hand side is weaker, right? And I have a limp and that kind of thing. Yeah. And like you can see my eye now, my right eye is kind of more closed than my left eye, and like the reaction times are slower. So like I live in Japan, so everyone rides a bicycle here, right? Except me. But like if a bicycle suddenly cut me off coming from my left side, I would react really quickly and defensively to that, But if they were coming from the other side, I would react too late. And I probably wouldn't see them until they've hit me or something like that, right? So all these problems persisted, like following the stroke, 6 months after that, you do see improvement, but not much. And then it's kind of frozen in time. It's like, well, that's how you're living from now on, kind of thing, And I'd constantly be tripping over as I was walking because of the limp, tripping over, and like I got to the point where if I trip with my right leg, I can stay standing. I don't fall over because I've just got so used to it. And so there was all that went on. And then 3 months into carnivore, I was walking and realized this is better. I'm walking more fluidly. I'm not limping. I'm not kind of doing this as I'm walking anymore, or not as much. And just that improved. And I realized kind of I was reacting to things more from this side, or more quickly from this side. And just these kind of things were improving. And yeah, so I from there I just realized I've got to talk about this. And it, it was the comments I was getting on those videos were similar.
Wow, that's awesome. Did you have any like memory problems or speech problems, or I don't know, I guess like speech disruptions in your brain or anything when that was going on through the stroke?
Straight after, yeah, there was kind of things were a bit weird. But at the running up to it, and at the time, I didn't experience anything because the stroke happened in my sleep.
Oh.
So I went to bed on a Sunday evening, getting ready for. I was already working at 17, getting ready for work the next day, and when I woke up the next morning, I was like, "Oh, there's something wrong. Must have got a virus or something. I must have caught something, And back in 1992, that was when if you were sick, you still went to work.
Right.
No one was like, "Oh, if you've got a sniffle, you're staying home. Don't come and infect us." It was just like you soldier on. Even in Australia, we have or had a drug called Codral, and their slogan was, "With Codral, you can soldier on." It was just you got on with it. And so I just went, "Oh, I've got some virus or something," and went to work. And I traveled 1 hour from this where I lived to the city on the train. And by the time I got to work, I was like, "Oh no, something's not right." Like I was tripping on things and falling over things and bumping into things. And I was like, something's not right. And I had this almost feeling of doom, like something bad's going to happen, like when you're watching Jaws and you start to hear the music and it's like, okay, well, he's about to attack. It was like that kind of feeling. And so I went home, but I got back on the train and went home. So that was another hour. Wow. And by the time I got home, the walk from the station to home, it was like I was dragging my leg behind me.
Wow.
And then the first doctor I went to said, did all these checks. He checked me thoroughly, checking my knees, checking in my eyes and stuff. And the eyes should have been a big sign, right? And the fact I couldn't talk out of this side of my face should have been a big sign. And the doctor told me I had gastro. Go home, take some Panadol, and rest. And so I didn't actually get a diagnosis until the following morning, because it was only like I went to another doctor that evening, and he said take him to hospital straight away, to my parents. So they drove me to hospital, went to emergency, and they did CAT scans overnight and stuff. And then the next morning they said, "No, well, you've got an aneurysm," and it burst.
Wow.
You're so lucky.
Yeah, that's so dangerous. A little bit of that was selfish questions, because just before I started carnivore, I had an episode that's put me in the hospital. That's the reason that I started carnivore. But one of the things was that because I was many things were going wrong at that time. But one of the things that happened was when I went in, I'd just gotten over a long fight with COVID, and I woke up and something was wrong with that doom feeling that you're talking about. I had that something terrible, and I was super confused, and my oxygen saturation was like 58%. Like it was as low as it had ever been.
Wow.
and I was super sick and I was pale and I could not get my senses back. But long story short, the ambulance had to come get me, and I got to the hospital and they said, "We think you had a stroke, but you're too big to put in the MRI, so we don't know," because they couldn't check, because I was 700 plus pounds at the time, and so they couldn't check me for a stroke. But for, I don't know, 4 or so months, I couldn't string together sentences. I couldn't find the words. I was just confused. And one thing they said that was very familiar was that doom feeling. That doom feeling was why I finally called the ambulance, because when you're 700 pounds, you do not want to call an ambulance. It's an ordeal to get an ambulance. It's like your last resort. And so I did not want to go through that. But that doom feeling, I was like, something is really, really, really wrong, So I recognize that. That's why I always wonder. But that was when I started carnivore, and all that went away. I was like, am I ever going to be able to speak normal again? Because I could not recall words. And it did. It cleared up. It was amazing amongst everything else. But
Yeah.
So really interesting.
Yeah, actually, that recalling of words, that sounds familiar. Like that was a thing kind of early on as well,
Yeah.
But yeah. Afterwards, I also got a little bit kind of I got a little bit kind of impatient, because sometimes you're struggling to put words together as quickly as you want to put words together as sentences, and like you would lose patience with yourself, and like you start kind of internally beating yourself up, and it's like, you just got to take your time, because your body can't heal instantly,
Yeah, 100%. And and I mean, I was sick and confused, and I didn't know if this was ever going to come back, but absolutely, it was probably the most frustrating thing that I went through was that period of time, because you get so frustrated. Because one thing I've always had on me is a quick tongue, and I lost that. I could not speak. It was really annoying. When I was 600 pounds, I was 14, so my muscle was my tongue. Like, if you were gonna make fun of me for my size, I was gonna tear you down with humor and words, so you were gonna you weren't getting away with it. So I had a sharp tongue, and I lost that, and I couldn't speak, and it was driving me crazy. And so that, out of a lot of things, oddly enough, probably vainly, that's one of the more happy things that healed this, that I was able to get my sarcasm and facetiousness back.
Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, I have a sarcastic streak as well, and yeah, I would hate to lose that, because that's like the highlight of my day is sarcasm and dad jokes.
Exactly.
It's like anyone says something, I'm just like, oh, that I've just heard that in totally a different way, because I've heard that in the humorous way, and I want to say something, and I think, no, I can't. I'm in the middle of an interview. I can't say it like that. I have to.
Oh, no, Dave, I'm not going to tell you how to be successful on YouTube, because I'm not there, but I can tell you, I lean into the sarcasm side every time on here. If there's two options, I'm going into the sarcasm every time.
Best way to be, huh?
100% of the time. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's so great. So out of your over 900 interviews now, I was going to ask you, like, what were your greatest aha moments personally on carnivore, and what were some of your greatest interviews, that stand out to you, like some of the real high points, some of the things that really took you, because I haven't hardly done any interviews, and I can kind of predict a few of the kind of the tempo of a lot of the interviews already, but every once in a while you hear something that just sets you back still. And I still hear things on a weekly basis in the carnivore world that still go, wow, that's incredible. I never would have thought that. What are some of the ones that stand out to you?
So some of the ones that really stand out are the ones where eyesight is restored. And like people being able to see their family again after a period of time of not being able to see them, and being able to go back to a normal way of living after having to rely on a guide dog. That sticks out. The amount of people that have resolved or are some way to resolving MS is a big thing for me, because MS for me growing up was just this nebulous thing that I didn't understand, but all I could have kind of understood about it was you got it and then you were stuck with it and there's no cure and that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And to know that there are so many people out there that are having success reversing or somewhat mitigating MS with a carnivore diet has been eye-opening for me. People walking again is a big one. You know, it's for me, it's just overall, it's been this feeling of how people can get themselves into a position, like I did myself, of not being able to live life the way that they see other people around them living it, you know, whether that's with mental health issues or weight or other chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, and just being able to turn it off and go back to living normally again because they changed the way they eat.
Exactly. What are some, you know, so like for me, what was crazy was I went carnivore because I thought all my problems were weight, because I was 700 pounds. So obviously that was the elephant in the room. But I had depression and suicidal ideation for almost 2 decades, you know, and within 3.5 weeks, it was gone. And I had no idea that could possibly be linked to diet, because, you know, everybody told me that, you know, that I needed to restrict food to lose weight. So I knew that was linked to diet from everything that I'd been programmed to believe. But nobody ever once said diet helped with depression, anxiety, and suicide ideation. Nobody ever told me that. So I thought that I was depressed and miserable because I was 700 pounds, and that the only way to clear the depression and the suicide ideation and to not be an anxiety filled wreck was to lose 500 pounds. And lo and behold, I was 3.5 weeks later, I was 700 pounds without depression or suicidal ideation.
Right.
So that was not the case, you know?
I mean, for most people, that I think they go through that kind of realization that changing my diet was originally about weight loss, because I thought weight loss was the answer to everything. But actually, getting healthy is the answer to everything. Weight loss is just the cherry on the cake, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. And that's what I really love about this, is that diets are for manipulating your weight and manipulating the symptoms of an underlying disease, but carnivore is for healing. Carnivore is healing, and then the weight loss and a proper body composition comes out of carnivore after you heal, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, looking back on, you know, the way I used to eat, and it's just like, what was I doing to myself? And I'm sure other carnivores feel the same way to a degree. It's like, I cannot believe I was putting that stuff into my body and thinking, it's okay, I'll go on a diet one day. Like, I was literally, if someone's pouring poison down their throat, you wouldn't stand and go, it's all right, it'll stop at some point, you know?
Right.
You would say, stop it now. This is dangerous. Even if it doesn't kill you at the moment, it's going to kill you at some point. But then we don't think about it ourselves when we're stuffing ice cream and fried chicken and all that kind of thing in our throats, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then it's funny, right? Because it gets bad enough, it makes us sick. We're putting all this chemicals and garbage and poisons down our throat, but it's commercially, societally the norm. So we keep doing it. We get to the point, and I say this all the time, and it's funny, but it's the truth. We get to the norm where we actually say, I got the Taco Bell craps, because you actually go poison yourself and you know that you got to go have a diarrhea explosion an hour later, and that's sadly normal.
Right.
And
We have White Castles here, and we call them sliders after we have them. So
exactly, because they're sliding up. But literally think about how crazy that is, that we have normalized eating food that our body rejects within an hour, and it goes through, nothing could possibly absorb. It was all poison that our body had to reject and get out of us. And then we do that for a long period of time. We get sick. We go to the doctor, and the doctor says, here's this chemical capsule in a pill. You take this, watch out, that can give you oily gas discharge, and you might lose control of your bowels, and you might grow a third nipple or something with the side effects, but we have another pill for that when it happens, right? And we just go down this road where it's just like, let's go make ourselves sick, and we are addicted to these products. It's not nutrition. They're selling us products, and they're making us sick, and the products are built to be extremely addictive, more addictive than cocaine, more addictive than heroin, on purpose. And the only reason why we put up with it is because it doesn't kill us as fast as overdosing on those hard drugs. It kills you over time. So it steals from you in little doses over time, but it steals big things from you, huge quality of life. And then they offer to give us symptom relief with more drugs that is the other side of that same addiction. It's just like, how did we get so duped?
That's right. And you get so sick. And even if you did that all your life, you get to, I don't know, 60, 70 years old, and you realize, and let's say you had this moment where you realize all that stuff I've been doing to myself has got me to the position I'm in now. All those chemicals, all those drugs, everything. But you've taken such a concoction of everything. It's not like there's one thing you can point at and go, you hurt me, you damaged me, like to kind of go back at a particular company or whatever, right? Everyone's protected because you've spread the damage across everything.
100%.
Yeah.
Then they just turn around and say, you're just getting old. That's why you've got
Right.
aches and pains. You're getting old, and everyone accepts that.
Yeah, it's just aging. And everyone's just like, oh, yeah, well, all my friends, as they're getting old, they're getting the same problems. So I guess that must be right.
Yeah, it's normal.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's normal for everybody because everybody's doing the same thing. Everybody's eating the same food all the time. So it's normal for everybody.
Yeah. And I keep coming back to looking at the animal kingdom, right? So you've got like a row of giraffes. You got a row of zebras. You got a row of tigers. You got a row of lions. You got a row of hippopotamuses. They all look the same. There's no, like, if they're fat, they're all fat. If they're thin, they're all thin. If they're muscular, they're all muscular. There's no anorexic giraffes or hippos. There's no obese ones, right? But then you look at a picture of humans all together, and if you were objective about it, you go, they're really sick. There's something wrong with this lot.
100%.
Right.
That's such a good point. Absolutely. And even I was kind of stuck in the house and at a commission for a few years while I was at my sickest there. And even in that short period of time of being homebound for, I don't know, realistically, it's about four or 5 years of not really being around. And I went back out once I got mobile again, and everybody was so much sicker just in that 5 years. There's so many more heavy people and young people in like the motorized scooters that were going to the grocery stores. Like even in that 5 years, it noticeably got worse just in the 5 years that I was gone, from public. And I looked around and I was like, oh wow, this is happening way quicker than we even thought. Like it's exponentially growing, and we are at the 12th, or 11th hour right now. I mean, things are happening quickly. Like this is going to be a real problem in another 20 years, like crazy.
Yeah. I mean, everyone compares where we're going to those scenes from Wall-E, right? Where there's people zipping around on the motorized carts and
that's exactly what they want,
TVs. And that's where we're going. And I mean, we're pretty much there, right?
Yeah, we are pretty much there. And and what's hilarious is that just like you said, none of this, people say all the time, like, well, you're just blaming the standard American diet and the medical community for your lack of willpower, because then it absolves you for blame, and it's like, no, it's not. Like if I'm going to objectively sit down, what am I guilty of? What I'm most guilty of in my own demise was that I delegated my responsibility of health to the medical industry because I was a food addict that wanted to believe in a miracle pill so that I continue having my drug and take my pill. That's what I did, where just like you said with your analogy of all the animals, of all the lines of different species of animals, if you just backed up and you had like the 36,000 foot view of what was going on, 74% of America was sick and fat. And they were also taking these pills and they weren't working. So the people that I was giving my money who had a vested interest in telling me that they could sell me this pill that would make okay to eat bad and I was all going to be fine, just take this magic $350 pill, just keep taking that and do that every month. If we were to do that in any other industry, right? If we were to give a mechanic money every month, $50 to thousands of dollars in prescription pills, if we were to give that to a mechanic every month and our car continued to run worse and worse and worse every month, and they charged us more and more and more every month, we would never do that, right? No. We'd be like,
right,
we give them one chance. That's it.
What are you doing, buddy? This is ridiculous. Right. Yeah.
Meanwhile, we do it to ourselves all the time. He's like, no, he's got a clipboard. He's got a stethoscope. This guy knows what's going on. Yeah, give me another pill. And could you make it quick? Because I got to go get some Taco Bell and then have a diarrhea crap here in about 20 minutes. It's right. Like, that's what we're doing. It's so crazy,
So I think you make a really good point about the abstract view of things. When you go to that 36,000 foot view or whatever, and you look at it, if you just take your feelings about whether medication's good or not, you take your feelings, totally just look at it dispassionately. You look at the American population, the Australian population, the British population, you just go, let's look at it now. Let's look at it 50 years ago. Something's wrong.
Oh, for sure.
We're not doing there is something wrong. And this is like 50 years. We don't suddenly evolve something that makes us suddenly get obese, right? Something is making us that way. We don't suddenly genetically change in such a way that we get these chronic diseases. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. The thing that finally, because, this is a little bit of a I don't know, it's kind of a topic on its own, but this theory and the things that they tell us, the reason why they push calorie restriction, even down to that movie, The Whale. Did you see The Whale about Brandon Fraser, the big guy?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know the one you're talking about.
Okay, that movie was even big food, big pharma propaganda, in my opinion, right? Yeah. Because he was in there and he was all 600, 700 pounds or whatever. But there's a part of it where he's in there and he goes and he takes like a wheelchair up to the refrigerator and he pulls out like a large pizza and he puts everything in the refrigerator on top of this pizza. And then he binge eats until he throws up in the kitchen, And when I saw that, I was like, this is big food propaganda, because I've never once ate in my life until I threw up. And I've never once ate anywhere close to that much junk food in one sitting. I literally put on weight just from soda. And I've eaten more now that I'm carnivore than I ever ate when I was standard American diet. But the thing is, they want us to believe that that's the only way you get to 600 pounds, when in reality,
it's not.
That's not how it happens.
Yeah.
And the answer is not calorie restriction, but they need to blame it on calories, because if they can blame it on calories and consumption, then they can blame it on your resolve and your willpower. It's not our food. It's not the content of and nutritional value of our food. The calories, there's no difference between a can of soda and a steak or a vegetable, and there's no difference between, you know, a Snickers bar and a carrot or whatever, right? So they
Mm-hmm.
program all this crap in there into your brain, and then it's your fault. It's your fault,
Right.
you know. And so my head was there the whole time. And when it
Mm.
finally broke free, because I would go to the doctor, they'd put me on a new thing, it would fail. I'd come back. I would, you know, I've lost 300 pounds twice in my life before and 200 pounds twice in my life before, gained it all back through just massive calorie restricting, right? Well, so I just thought it was me. I'm broken. There's something really wrong with me. Well, when I heard Gary Taub and Dr. Robert Lustig talk about how our food environment changed, and the only way that you can manipulate the behavior and the outcome of you know, hundreds of millions of people, and at 74% of its population is to change the environment. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, I've been being lied to. This, maybe it's not me. Maybe the people that are making all the money off of me being sick, you know, maybe they're the ones that are changing the environment, and that's what's wrong. And that's when all the blinders started coming off. And man, that's where I hope everybody gets to, and that's what I hope this conversation gets people to, you know.
Yeah. So the thing with calories is, yeah, I agree with you. Calories and everything around that it's been engineered in a way, whether it's just through sheer dumb luck or it was planned this way. It's been engineered around being able to blame us. It's all about your self-control.
Yep.
Right. And it's like, no, it's not about our self-control, as you say. Like, we can't fight back against our hormones. Right.
No.
I kind of liken us human beings to dogs, because we're both facultative carnivores.
Yeah.
Right. We're opportunistic, right? We will prioritize, like, if there's meat there, we're going to eat the meat, and that's going to satiate us, right? If it's animal products, that's what's going to satiate us. But at the end of the day, we're going to eat anything, right? Same as a dog would, right? And that's why domesticated dogs get type 2 diabetes. That's why you see obese domesticated dogs. You know, my mum had a dog that ended up with type 2 diabetes. Because they eat the same snacks that we, because, you know, you want to include them as part of the family.
Right. Yep.
Right. You don't see a tiger getting type 2 diabetes because a tiger is not trying to ingratiate itself with a family unless it wants to eat them.
Yep.
You know? So yeah, it's all it's all designed just to make it look like it's our fault, and it's not. We're fighting against our hormones.
Right. They use guilt to blame us for it, right? So that we'll take the fall, but then they use fear mongering and manipulation to keep us there, going, don't eat that red meat. It's going to give you, you know, butt cancer, and your heart's going to explode out of your chest if you eat that red meat. And, you know, don't to have all this stuff, and they take all the things away that make you healthy, and they demonize it. But then if you just back up and go, we wouldn't exist as a species if this fear mongering was real, because that's what we evolved, persisted as throughout the beginning of time. How would we have not only survived and persisted this time, how would we have gotten to be an apex predator at the top of the food chain by doing something so detrimental to our species?
Right. Yeah, you know, you also get the argument from people that it's like, well, yeah, but if you go back to the time we were eating lots of meat, look at the average life expectancy. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's not accurate, because you're comparing a time when more kids died because of preventable diseases that antibiotics would fix, or something like that. Or, you know, babies died during childbirth, or whatever it is. Yeah. And that kind of brings the average down a lot.
Oh, huge. I mean, back then it was like exposure, what is it? Infections, exposure, and then the third one was like sanitary means, like bathrooms and running water. I mean, those three things were the main killers back then, which is why there was an average life expectancy of like 32 in the 1800s or something. But yeah, if you took the dietary habits, and even, you know, mainly the dietary habits of back then, and you coupled that with climate controlled buildings, being able to disinfect and kill bacteria, bad bacteria now, and keep you out of the sun and the elements. Holy cow, I think people would live to be 120,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anything to keep selling their cardboard rubbish. I really like Dr. Gary Fettke. He's got those couple of awesome sayings like, live by the food pyramid, you'll die by the food pyramid, and along the way you'll look like the food pyramid. And the other one is the other one is he was at a like some kind of work function, and they had like all the crappy snacks out, on the table, and someone said, "Are you not eating anything?" And he said, "Well, have you got the box that this one came in? I think there's probably more nutrition in this."
That's a fact for sure. Yeah, that's awesome, and how true it is too. No joke. And that's what when I heard, I forget if it was Gary Taub or if it was Robert Lustig, but they said during the agricultural revolution, our food stopped being nutrients and it started being products. It started to be a commodity that was traded, which means it didn't have to be the right nutrients for our species. It had to be a product that could have a shelf life, that could be stored, that could be transported,
That's right. I think that was Robert Lustig. He was talking in a context of orange juice or something.
Yeah.
It's almost like this is the future now. We don't have to worry about whether there's nutrition in there. This is making people money.
Exactly. And like, because I like this guy. I know he's a little controversial in the carnivore world, but I like Dr. Berg. I think he's got a lot of solid information. I don't agree with everything, but he talks about, oh man, I just lost my train of thought when I was making excuses for Dr. Berg. He made a good point. I'm gonna have to come back to it now. I have a little bit of the ADD stuff and my mind skips around.
So while you're remembering that, do you mention Robert Lustig?
Yeah.
He was one of my entry points to where I am now. Like I listened to his talks on repeat.
Me too.
As I was going for walks, and one of the things that really struck me that he talks about, and it might have been in that, he's got that really famous talk he did about sugar, is that you can't blame people for their situation. Like you can't, when someone's sick or they are overweight or whatever the case is, you can't say, well, this is your fault because it's you that's eating the stuff. You can't blame them, because when their education that they receive is telling them that this is okay to eat, then you can't say it's their fault for eating it.
Exactly.
You can't say it's their fault for getting into that. And I just thought that was quite a profound thing, because it's kind of knee-jerk reaction from people who have never been in a situation where they've dealt with a chronic illness or been overweight, to say, well, that's just your fault because you're eating too much of this.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't be eating that stuff or whatever. And it's okay, well, we shouldn't be eating it. But if people never receive that education, we're lucky. We came to that realization on our own, but most people are not going to, because the marketing messages are way too strong.
100%. And that's what the thing that I'd lost my words there for is, he was saying that, Dr. Berg was saying that, like, out of, I think he said there's 680,000 products in the grocery store, and less than 3% of them actually meet the criteria of nourishment or actual food. And so everything else he said's a product. And so to exactly your point, how can we, without people that are standing in our shoes? I mean, think about how not only the programming and the advertising and the product placement and pushing those products, it's really hard because one, you're getting them to addicted to something that's, like 8 times more addictive than cocaine. But then so as an addict, you have to convince them that the 600 plus thousand items in the grocery store that they are being pushed and that the FDA says is nutrient dense food, or nutritionally okay food anyways for consumption. You have to convince them that that's not actually food. There's no nourishment in it. In fact, it's a poison and it's a drug and it's killing you. It's so hard to get over that hurdle with people until they get sick enough that they need some kind of answer. Yeah, because everything's not working,
Yeah. I think I've found the simplest way to try and get a message across to someone who's completely oblivious to this at the moment is kind of say to them, if it's got a nutrition label on it, there's a good chance there's no nutrition in there.
It's all on the label. You can eat the label, like you said, get more nutrition out of it.
Yeah, it's more like we hope to get here at some point, but there isn't that nutrition in there right now.
Yeah, they're almost trying to talk you into it, like, no, seriously, this is okay for you.
Yeah. The other thing I love is maybe it's the FDA, I'm not sure, the generally recognized as safe. So, so what that means is we haven't heard that it's killed anyone yet.
Exactly. I laugh. I don't know. I guess this was sometime in the early 2000s or maybe mid to late 90s, but there was that Stallone movie. It was called Judge Dredd or something. Yeah, and I love that they had those vending food robots that would go down the hallway and it would say, "Eat recycled food. It's great for the environment and okay for you," is what they said.
Yeah. A little bit of truth.
At least they were honest.
Exactly. I'm like, we've made it there. That's what I feel about, what is basically what you just said there with the Food and Drug, Administration or whatever. They're trying to say, it's all right. That's basically the best that they can come up with. So far, we think it's probably okay. Just eat it. That's basically the best they can do right now.
Yeah. You remember the Jetsons?
Yeah.
And like everything came out of a vending machine and it was in a box. And it's like, wow, I can't wait till we get there. Imagine how convenient that's going to be. And it's like, well, we're there.
We've been there for a long time. Look what it did to us.
For sure. Well, seriously, quite literally, like we were really, really there. Because think about what are those products you keep seeing where they're like, no, you buy our oven, it's $300. We ship you boxes that fit just in this, and the box will have like a 1 on it. You hit button number 1, and it'll cook it all right and spit it out to you. Literally, we are at the Jets.
And now most cities have the robots that deliver the food to you.
Yeah, they do.
The little Uber and all that stuff.
The drones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's what's like what is the way that we can best spread the message though?
I think we have to walk the walk and get the results, and then in our own circles we can be the change in our little environments, our little bubbles that we live in. In fact, I used to think, man, nobody's going to listen to me because 700 pounds, right? But now I'm like, oh, everybody's going to listen to me because I was 700 pounds, right? So that's going to be, that change is catching everybody's eye. I'm only down 315 or 320 pounds now, and I still have weight to lose, but it was enough that my sister's carnivore and she's lost 71 pounds and she had terrible arthritis. She can walk again. My brother's carnivore for 13 months now, and it's healing his MS, and he stopped his vagus nerve issues, and he stopped passing out in the mornings because he had syncope, and he would stand up and he'd black out as soon as he stood up. And now he hasn't had that problem in 4 months, And so personally, and then we spend a lot of time in SBG, where I think right now they have like 2,000 members or something in there. And we are watching hundreds of people at a time find this way of life, and that's their community. So they stick to it, and then they go out and change their little bubbles too. And it's the exponential growth through actual results. Because when we can be the change and the fruit, bear the fruit of this way. We completely dispel the fear mongering of, no, they're going to die. Their hearts are going to explode from high cholesterol. They're going to have all these problems. Well, after 2 or 3 years, was I more likely to die being 700 pounds, or am I more likely to die because of the big, scary red meat? Well, now that when I was housebound, but now I can walk and breathe and talk and vibrant and have all this energy and strength. Now the sick people around me, now they're sitting here going, when they are getting sick and they need a way out, it's a pretty bright light now, because they see something they can at least reach out to and go, okay, how did you do that? And I see that happening now. And I think that's all of our superpower,
Yeah, it really is. Just that leading by example is pretty powerful, right? But I've got to correct you on one thing, Todd. When you're talking about weight loss and you say 315 pounds, you can't preface that by saying only. Like that is some achievement. That's an awesome achievement.
It's a blessing, and the reason why, because I know I still have weight to lose. I still have 100 and probably 50 pounds. It depends on how much loose skin I have to get cut off. But the thing is I underplay that, because just like we started this with earlier, because I thought that was going to be the biggest part of this journey, was getting rid of the weight. And now, just like you said, it actually is the most inconsequential part of it. Like, it's great that it's happening, but the congestive heart failure healing up, the getting strong, being able to breathe again, my oxygen saturation coming down, my resting heart rate going from 107 beats a minute to 66 beats a minute now, being able to have good blood flow and oxygen saturation. Since I was
being able to talk this long.
Michael's always giving me a hard time because I'm a hyper person. But
so let me just go ahead, finish. Before you go on to something else, I want to do something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when I was way back when I was 14, my blood oxygen saturation was only 88%. Then I got put on 6 liters of home oxygen. I was oxygen dependent, and even with 6 liters of oxygen, I couldn't get past 88%. Right. I'm off oxygen, no sleep apnea, and my oxygen is 96% saturation right now with none of it. And they said I would be on oxygen my whole life. So I'm just like, that's the big part. So I don't like to put prefaces too much on the weight, because people think they preface the weight with like willpower. And I'm like, no, there was no willpower involved at all in this. Like, this is the answer. I've been healed. I didn't do this through willpower. I've been healed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I love the healing message.
Yeah, that's a good point about not sort of emphasizing the weight loss, because then, it feels like, oh, well, this is a diet. Yeah. And it's going to be hard, and I need willpower. And yeah,
exactly.
I just want to pull this up since we're talking about this.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. And so for all of us here, and Lindy gets embarrassed, and she did not do this. Me and Michael did this for her. But the reason why we are pushing this is because Lindy has lost over 500 pounds. Yes. And our medical system is so screwed up that Lindy can be diabetic and have all the health problems she wants, and they will continue to give her medication and pay for it and help treat her while she's sick all day long. But as soon as she got healthy, and all she needs to kind of complete this journey of health is to get over 50 pounds of skin that's pretty debilitating, it's hanging off her. Well, lo and behold, our medical systems don't cover that, does it? Because they think that that's some sort of vein elective surgery, and they want, $35,000 to do that. So Lindy had been on a waiting list for over a year and was not able to come up with with the money because of some tragedies that
she wanted to cancel it. Yeah,
she was going to cancel it. Me and Michael heard about that, and if anybody deserves to get completely free, it's Lindy, who helps everybody that I know in the carnivore community, me and Michael, so much. And Lindy has done it the right way, and has spent the last 3 years losing over 500 pounds. And so you guys know us enough here. We never sell anything here. We never ask for money. We never do anything. But this one we had to put out there because Lindy has got to get this surgery. Yes, she is scheduled for February 6th to get her first skin reduction surgery. Wow. So it's so awesome. And we are so close to our goal. We thank everybody so much. And we totally understand that if you don't have $1 to put in here, we totally understand it. Any dollar helps too. But even if you can just blast this out there on social media for us so we can get this last 19% of the way there, it's fantastic. And we're going to see Lindy through this, and she's going to put the cherry on top of this thing and get it behind her once and for all after 50 some years.
You know how to make a girl cry, don't you? Thank you, guys.
You deserve it, Lindy. And so we're going to see this through. And so we absolutely appreciate it. And we know there's so many good causes out there to give to. And we just appreciate this community so much. And we don't ever sell things here, but we appreciate that so much.
Hit some questions, Todd. We got some for Dave before he takes off.
Okay, great.
And just before you do that, Todd, I'll just say after this, I'll share this out on my socials as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dave. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Yeah, let's do a lightning round. First, we'll do the super chats. Caleb, Dave, what's your channel name? I want to subscribe.
I posted it into the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
No Carb Life, or you can search YouTube for my handle, which is @0carb.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And everybody also go, Caleb's how old's Caleb? Is he 16 or 17?
Yeah, he's a young ticker.
Yeah, Caleb's a young guy. He's a new carnivore, and he just started his own YouTube channel. So everybody go check out Caleb and helps him sport. We got to get our young fellas and youth into the carnivore so they can also start curbing this and get it out to their friends before they get, let's try to starve the big pharma from down low. Let's cut off the supply of sick people. All right. And let's see. Colleen Brown, thank you so much for the super chat. Type 2 diabetes, now told I have heart disease. 61 years old. Want a way of eating that won't make my heart worse. Any experience or thoughts in this group? Thank you. I'll send that over to Dave first.
From the people I've spoken to, everyone that's had type 2 diabetes that I've spoken to has either reversed their type 2 diabetes or is on the way to reversing it. I spoke to someone 2 days ago that got their A1C from 13.9 to 4.8 on carnivore. And the thing about type 2 diabetes is that type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, that is the main driver of heart disease. And so if you can reverse your type 2 diabetes, if you can get your A1C down, that's going to go the longest way to helping the situation. So kill two birds with one stone, basically stabilize the heart disease and reverse type 2 diabetes. So I would go carnivore all the way. Not a doctor, that's not doctor's advice, but yeah.
Right. Well, and I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. So what I'm going to tell you here is that I'm just going to tell you what happened to me and what I did. And it's not medical advice, and it's not even a suggestion. Do with it what you will. But I had congestive heart failure, and it was bad enough that I gained 84 pounds of fluid in 3 weeks. And they had to pump fluid off me in the ICU for 11 days because of it. And they told me that I would always have congestive heart failure, that I was going to die young, that I had to see specialists, all this crap. That was why I ended up, I think they call it tachycardic, where I had a resting heart rate of 107 beats a minute. And they sent me home with like 6 new medications that I was going to have to take for forever. And I had 3 new specialists that I had to see. And my whole life was going to be around this new system. And I went home and I threw all the medication in the garbage. And I said, I'm going to pray, I'm going to do carnivore, and I'm going to see where it comes out. And I never took one of those medications. And within 6 months, I had reversed congestive heart failure. I was down 205 pounds, and I was off oxygen, and my oxygen was high as it ever been. And when I called my heart doctor, he said he was worried about my diet after telling him all that. And so I haven't been back since, but every day my heart condition gets, like I have no symptom of heart condition whatsoever. Every day my body gets healthier, my oxygen saturation goes up, and my rested heart rate goes down, and I have more stamina, more strength, more blood flow. Like everything is so much better. And I have never seen anybody in my personal circle that didn't reverse type 2 diabetes yet on carnivore, which is incredible, So that's my thoughts on the deal. But
Yeah.
that's not medical advice.
Well, I was told that my type 2 diabetes is now in remission. You can't cure it. It's like, yeah, well, obviously if I go back on the carbs, it's going to come back for sure. But,
Yeah.
My HbA1c, everything's good, and I'm now in the clear. But for heart, I'd look at Dr. Philip Bavadia. Go check his site. I Fix Hearts, I think it is. I Fix Hearts on YouTube. And he's a heart surgeon. So go and his carnivore. I'd go and do some research there.
That's awesome. Thanks so much. And let's see, we'll put this one out there. Question: has anybody experienced swollen lymph nodes after going carnivore? I'm 19 months in, and I have had severe oxalate dumping off and on. Just in the past week, I've had a swollen node. Yeah, I'll send this one to Dave first.
I've never experienced that, and I don't think I've heard of anyone either. I don't think I've interviewed anyone with that either.
Yeah, if you have, so I have had that on carnivore, and if you have a sluggish lymphatic system, if you have especially thoracic duct problems, and you start having more fat, which is necessary, but you start having more fat, your lymphatic system is going to be a little bit sluggish, and it can swell up lymph nodes. I've had that happen, and also Salt has had that happen with me. But let me tell you what, Wim Hof breathing, by the way, that was one of the big parts of getting my oxygen up and getting off of oxygen was Wim Hof breathing. But on the side note, Wim Hof breathing moves your diaphragm around, which loosens up your lymphatic system in your waist, where a lot of that damming happens and a lot of the restriction happens in your lymphatic system. So between Wim Hof breathing and then a vibration plate and a rebounder, and getting your feet up at night, and also I know it sounds like a lot, but if you can get this all working between getting my feet up at night, getting on the vibration plate, doing the Wim Hof breathing and using the rebounder, and then doing some fasting to let the lymphatic system rest, it cleans it out. And then your lymphatic system stops being so sluggish and it starts getting better and better. But if I had to pick the first thing that I would do, it would be the Wim Hof breathing. The second thing I would do would be the vibration plate. And the third thing I would do is the rebounder and just do calf raises to your calves on that. All you have to do is stand on your toes and drop back down on the rebounder, just like that. And your calves are basically the heartbeat, the pump for your lymphatic system. And that'll clean out your lymphatic system. My right calf was 36 inches in diameter. I've lost 9 inches of impacted lymphatic tissue on that calf, and they said it would not go away. I've got 9 inches off of it and 8.5 inches off my left calf. So it absolutely moves.
Nice.
All right. Let's see. Well, I think we did this one or we did one like it. Do you have a website, Dave?
I don't. Yeah, just the YouTube channel.
Perfect. And we got Target Prime Rib. Says, Dave Mack, did anyone ever tell you your name sounds like the lead of a rock band, Dave Mack Band or something like that?
No one's told me that. I've had, I sound like McDonald's or something like that, but yeah, never.
For sure.
But thank you.
Well, here's another one for Dave. I'm kind of going to the ones that have Dave's name in them now, just because we don't want to keep Dave too long. Dave, now that you've had all these improvements, which activities are you able to enjoy that you had a hard time doing or couldn't do before?
The two that really stick out is walking. I've always liked walking, but now I enjoy it more. And I'll often catch a train 3 or 4 stations away from me and then walk home from that station just to enjoy the walk. But I often do that at night. And because it just allows me to walk, have this pleasant exercise, and do a lot of thinking at the same time, you know. And the other one is running. Like, since I got rid of the arthritis in my left knee and the limp has improved, it feels like I'm back in high school. Like, I've got that lightness about myself when I'm running, you know? And it's awesome.
That is awesome. Incredible.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm a 50-year-old high school student.
Better late than never. That's awesome. Dave Mack, for one, I'm so grateful for your channel. Love your interview style. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen.
That's awesome, Karen. And then Simpson John says, okay, this is bugging me. What is the name of your female alter ego, Dave Mack? I still want to do an interview with you or her if you ever get brave enough.
It's Bellshine. It's Bellshine.
Bellshine.
All right, let's see here. I'm going to make sure. I'm looking through to see if there's any more at Dave.
No worries. Just to give you a bit of context on Bellshine, the only reason I settled on that name is because I needed a 2-part name where the initials were BS.
Oh, there we go.
That's why.
That's awesome.
We'll have to invite her on the show one day. She's a I think she'd have a lot of fun with Todd.
Yeah. You know, if she stays in character the whole time, it can get absolutely ridiculous. I've got an interview where I was interviewed by Rick, the 40-year carnivore. Oh, sorry, Bellshine was interviewed by Rick, the 40-year carnivore. And the hardest thing about that interview was keeping a straight face.
Might be a good one for Rumble, because then you're not restricted. You can go for your life and say whatever.
That might be a good place for him, for sure.
And I think Bellshine should be the one that does the interview with Todd.
Easy. You know, he only says that because I think I'm down to my last hard strike on YouTube, Dave. If I get one more, I'm gonna have to start from scratch.
Trying to get you off the show, man.
Yeah, I dared talk. I dared speak my mind about GLP-1s, and I got a hard strike from YouTube. Yeah.
Really? They struck you for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
in the middle of a live stream with
in the middle
Bella
of a live
and the gang.
stream, I took my channel for 2 weeks.
You could tell who's about to blows. Yep.
Yeah. I was like, woo, because I felt honored because it was me with only 6,500 little subscribers, and I got a big pharma's across the list. I was like, I must be doing something right.
Wow. I'm shocked it was that topic as well.
Yeah, it was. They said that I had this what is it that I had spread medical misinformation, you know. That was it. And literally I just repeated some topics from an interview of a whistleblower about the GLP-1s that I had watched on mainstream media even earlier, a couple weeks earlier. And
they just got him again.
Did they get you again?
Michael likes to play games and yeah, for sure. And it did happen the first time. It happened that fast because we were on a 6-person live stream, and then all of a sudden StreamYard started lagging and my feed dropped, and then my phone went off, and YouTube Studio, it said that I'd been pulled and banned for disseminating medical misinformation live, and they just went chink.
Wow.
Yeah.
The algorithm's always watching. Wow.
It is. So now instead of calling it the Zimp whatever, we call it One Pick.
Wow.
We're talking smack, but yeah, it's funny. And now it's funny because I might not have a YouTube channel any longer because I'm actually planning on delving into this. I'm gonna do it on my own so that I don't get Michael and Lindy's channels aren't caught in the crossfire, but I am going to go into that because I want to get to the truth, because it's bleeding its way into carnivore now. There's a movement of microdosing it, and
Right.
I want to see if there's something to it. And is it a smart fight? Probably not. I've never been smart, but it's a fight nonetheless. So I think I'm going for it. So
The thing is, like, what are they so sensitive about? If it's just opinion and a presentation of what you've found. It's like, if you're so sensitive about it, it makes it feel like there's some there.
right, 100%. It's like if you got to come shut down, just a redneck in a cowboy hat from Montana, and you can't fight me on merit, and you got to shut down my channel, then I would say your case is, pretty flimsy, right? Your argument's pretty flimsy,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't know. I have this terrible instinct that when I feel like it would be the safer thing to not say what I think, then that's the first thing I'm going to say. So, so now that's why I'm trying to get Rumble up as fast as possible, because I need to go speak freely on Rumble before this gets all bottled up. So
Yeah.
soon. Do you do anything on Rumble?
I've got a Rumble channel, but I'm behind with my uploads there.
Yeah.
Because the mistake I made is I trusted that the interface between YouTube and Rumble would load the videos up for me.
Yep.
And it got about 5 videos done in a period of months, and it was like, oh, okay.
That was my interface. Lindy uploaded all my videos over. I could not believe it. That's why I ordered so much. She moved all my videos over for me.
Yeah. So I need to do everything manually. So it's just, I've got to motivate myself to do it.
Whatever happened to that? Because it was doing the same thing for me. It was moving my videos over, and then I got like 20 over and it just stopped.
I reckon there's my theory would be there's probably a little bit of trickery on the YouTube side where like I don't know, it sends error messages or something to Rumble to make it think that there's a problem, so it stops and starts again or something like that. So Rumble never thinks there's actually a real problem.
Yeah,
it's just starting the upload again and again, and a few get through, but yeah.
If I had to put my take on it, I'd say it's YouTube not wanting content taken off their system.
Yeah.
I
think so.
Yeah, they only want to get the content down when they want to get it down, and outside of that, they want it for themselves. Yeah.
Oh, here, I did miss this question for Dave. How do you find all the different people on your show?
I just kind of occasionally make a video calling for people to shoot me an email, and I sometimes I'll make a Facebook post or a community post or something asking for people to contact me. But I'm more than happy for anyone to reach out. Can I say my email address?
Absolutely. Yeah.
If someone's sorry.
I was just going to say, Lindy, do you have it? Can we put it in the chat form?
Oh, I'll have to find it, or you can say it and we'll type it out.
Sure. It's realzerocarb@gmail.com. So if anyone wants to come and tell their story, please shoot me an email.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I should probably check out soon, guys, because I have to go and attend to my daughter because she's off school today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure. And everybody go check out Dave. Michael put his links in the description, and Lindy put his links in the description, and Michael put his link in the chat. And go ahead and email him for interviews. And otherwise, it was awesome. Time flew, so we sure appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on, Michael, Lindy, and Todd. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Anytime, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
We'll see you again soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye, Dave.
Bye.
All right. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
So,
now you guys are just stuck with us.
We're stuck with you.
You are. boy. All right, let's do a lightning round, and then you guys put some questions in if you want them. I was able to this is from Tim. I was able to shovel snow for the first time in a long time that I could for the first time in a long time that I could do that. Wow, I can't speak today. So that's awesome, Tim. Good work.
Good job, Tim.
All right. Is
So,
6? Oh, go ahead. Here you go.
yeah, I'll give you a rest. Hi, Patty. Is 6 eggs fried in butter, 1.5 pound ribeye, or ground beef enough or too much food in a day to lose weight? Am I over or under eating?
I would eat a little more to try it. I don't think you're not the worst under eater I've ever seen, but that's definitely not overeating by any means. I would try another half pound, a pound of beef and see if something opens up to me.
I don't know. For me, I just don't measure anything. I still have a lot to lose. And I don't know, it stresses me out to think, am I eating enough? Am I not? So yeah, I just try to not to stress too much. If my hair starts falling out, I eat more. That's my indication. Or when I've got the cravings, when I start feeling cravings for anything that's not carnivore, I know it's time to reprime and nourish my body. So they're my indicators. Which is probably not a good way to go.
For sure.
I used to get migraines a lot, and before and during the migraine, I wouldn't be able to form sentences. That's completely gone now. Gee, yeah.
That's awesome, Kim.
They're awful. I used to get migraines every other week, and I'd have to take tablets, and they'd knock me out for 3 or 4 days. They were awful. But I've had no migraines at all since being carnivore. So obviously something I was eating was triggering that.
Wow. That is awesome.
Oh, thanks, Marina.
Thanks, Marina. So awesome to see you.
Hummingbird, that's a cute name. I'm a newbie, 1 month, and I'm finding it difficult to get good sleep. Did you all have that issue in the beginning? If so, what helped? Thank you.
Yeah, that does happen.
100%.
Yep.
Yes. And a lot of things helped. But I'm going to say the number one thing is patience, which is not going to be what you're going to want to hear. But it takes, I think that we go through so many metabolic changes and hormonal changes that it takes a minute for your body to kind of relax again because it's kind of recalibrating. But the things that appeared to help were, and not basically, I guess, in this order, I'm going to try to put them in the most important order. One is the grounding sheets and pillows did help. They did help. For some reason, it kind of seems to relax you a little bit. But 2 is staying away from the blue light, trying to shut your phone off and the lights off a little bit earlier. 3 is getting up in the morning and getting your eyes on the sun. If you're wearing glasses and you can't look at it through a window, you got to get raw sun on your eyes, not through glasses. First thing when you wake up in the morning, kind of try to reset your circadian rhythm. And then the last one, and also Wim Hof breathing seemed to help too. But the last one was just letting your body settle in, going to bed a little bit earlier, because I still have the dawn phenomenon thing that happens at about 3:15 to 3:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, it makes me pee. When it makes me pee, I'm just awake. I'm not going back to bed. So in order to get good sleep, I had to back up and I had to get the sleep I wanted basically before 3:30. And if I get any more than that, that's a plus, but it almost never happens anymore. So I just go to bed earlier, get my sleep in, but also I only need about 5 to 6 hours of sleep now. 6 is a long time. 5 is about normal, and I'm good. So that's what I did. How about you guys?
What I do is I put on one of Todd's videos and it just plays and it just puts me to sleep like a baby.
Touche, Michael. Touche, you little shit.
I try not to go to bed with a full stomach, especially meat. I find it's really difficult to digest at night, and because I've got the lap band, everything gets stuck. So I make my egg colada and I have it like a warm drink, and it's really creamy. So you have just 4 egg yolks, a tablespoon of tallow, tablespoon of butter, fill it up with hot boiling water, and I blitz it in a NutriBullet. You can put a bit of salt in there. If you're not strict, I've heard people put in a bit of cinnamon or a little bit of a sweetener if you want. I don't do that, but others do. And you just drink that. And it's nice and fatty. It helps, I think, lower your cortisol, and I sleep like a baby after one of those. And also the vibration plate. I'll jump on that before bed, especially in winter when you're cold, and just stand on that for until it runs out. I think it goes for like 15 or 20 minutes. Just stand on that, and that relaxes my whole body. All my muscles, everything's relaxed, and I curl up and I sleep like a baby. So vibration plate and something, like an egg colada for dinner.
That's awesome.
And then you can also try that egg colada with bone broth, and that's really good.
Someone else used bacon grease. I think they did that during our live stream and said it was nice. I haven't tried it, but it's a lot of variations you can do. So Caleb, I too lost depression within a month. Yep. Fantastic.
That's awesome. Amazing. Yeah, you are one of many now, and it's not anecdotal anymore. And the fact that the mental health system doesn't promote this before drugs is an absolute crime, in my opinion.
Well, they don't want to lose money.
No, they don't.
I've just recently found out a couple of my girlfriends are taking antidepressants, and I had no idea. I always thought they were pretty, everyone was fine and happy. You don't hear anything, and they confided in me not long ago that they're taking antidepressants.
If by fine you mean high.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised how there's probably so many people out there that are on them. And I know, like my daughter, my oldest, when she was younger, she was on antidepressants and all sorts of, she went through a very bad stage. So it's so common, but you don't see it.
All right. Sorry to do this, but I have to go take a leak because I've got to pee so bad my uvula is floating. So I'll be right back.
Hey, Tim, many diseases have one source, chronic inflammation. Yeah, for sure.
Since he's not here, I can have some fun.
Oh, go for it. What have you got for us? Have you got something new?
I was really surprised to hear that the Village people were going to be with the Trump inauguration, and Todd was there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Good job. You got some more comments or?
No, not right now. What do we have for comments? There you go.
Reminder to tap the like button. Yeah, I think we must be the worst social media influencers out there. We never do this kind of stuff. But thank you, Tim.
We just
sharing the love. We don't. No, it's here chatting amongst friends, aren't we? Carnivore Journey. It's a pretty name. So thankful for the carnivore community. I occasionally stray, but keep coming back because of my whys. Thank you for your inspiration. Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming. And the whys, I think, have to be a powerful part of our journey. And, we go off track occasionally, but just it's good that you can come back. Just try not to let those periods in between last for too long. So, good job. What are you up to, Michael? You can see that little smile.
I know I got more stuff, but I'm trying to find them. I don't know where I got them. You know me.
Has anyone heard about Big Food being sued? Have you, Michael?
No, I haven't heard that. They should be.
Yeah, I think everyone's too scared. We can leave that one from Todd. The first 300 pounds is the easiest, Todd. It is when you're coming from an extreme weight and you make a major change to your body, to your diet, you do lose a lot of inflammation and fluid, especially. I think all three of us had a lot of lymphedema and fluid in our body. Yeah, and that kind of drops off very quickly. So, like in the first 3 months, I lost it nearly 300 pounds. It's all water. It's like not fat. It's just edema and inflammation in my body, and so that was the bulk of it. And now things are obviously a little bit harder, as I've got the fat to lose now.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, stop floating.
Oh my gosh, something was gonna break. Whew, I'm better now. Oh,
Yeah,
man,
your eyes ain't yellow no more.
no kidding. Had to. Just when I pulled my earphones out, I knew how bad it was. Stuff started leaking out my ears.
Nope.
All right, we're back. Did we get to the carnivore Hercules question earlier?
We did, but we thought we'd leave it for you because Todd
that's
and
good.
Michael and I didn't know.
We don't want strikes on our channel, Todd.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I see. Oh, and absolutely, Tim's totally right. First 300 pounds of breeze. All right.
So you can drive again.
I have.
I'm happy I didn't break anything. So
I have heard that. Now I don't know what's going on with it. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm assuming that this is going to be a common occurrence here under the next 4 years, and I'll leave it at that. Like, I think once we start digging into this and we see, I mean, look, how much can I say on this platform without getting in trouble? We know that the triangle thingy was all propaganda that they tried to push, and even Jordan Peterson and everybody is openly saying that now, that one of the biggest scams of our lifetimes and many generations before us is that stupid triangle thingy being pushed, as science. We all know it's bullcrap now. In fact, we all know that a lot of the big food science was propaganda, and it was being pushed to market drugs and to hook citizens on their drugs. And so we know that now. And as that actually gets exposed, and as we dig into how this happened and the money behind it, I think we are going to see a big shift, not only in regulation that might actually make a difference for once and might actually matter, but also in a reckoning, and hopefully some new, dare I say it, I'm never a fan of laws. All right. I don't like laws.
Right.
But there's got to be consequences, right? There's got to be a pushback. I think societally, we should be the pushback, right? I think as a society, Benjamin Franklin said freedom is for a virtuous people. You can't really regulate or create laws that are going to create a utopia. It doesn't exist. It has to be on the nature of man. It has to be from the nature of a virtuous people that are going to hold people's feet to the fire when they come after us, and they come after our society, and they come after our families and our children, and they try to take advantage, right? We as a society, have to stop funding them, which is why I don't buy sugar, right? I don't have cheat days because it's funding the terrorism on us. We are funding the drug addicts that are getting us addicted so that we can fund their terrorist at war against us, So don't fund the terrorists, and that's what Benjamin Franklin was talking about. We have to be virtuous enough to not take the easy route, to not take their drugs, to not take their amenities and their convenience, like we have to take the harder path to stop falling for their nonsense, right? And I think that's going to happen. I know I'm outside of the realm of this question, but that's basically what I think is coming. And it's really exciting to watch. And I think if we can all get free at the same time and join the battle, right, we can make some lasting change.
Oh.
Yeah, but see, I love what you're saying there with we'll see what Kennedy can do. However, he can't do it on his own. And that's what I'm saying. Regulation on its own is not enough. Now, hopefully we can actually shine light and the roaches will scatter. That's what I'm hoping. We put light on it, the roaches will scatter, and it'll take the fear mongering and the propaganda will lose its grip on people, and they'll start having to answer questions. But that's why this administration is, you can see the tactics already that are coming. That's why they're demonizing this administration so that they can make this look like it's an attack on science. But that's what I say about the 36,000-foot overview is if this is the settled science that's best for humanity, Is it working? Because I see a lot of sick, suffering people. I see a lot of metabolically sick people. I see a lot of people that are on antidepressants, and a lot of people that are have lost quality of life and that are on drugs and that are, you know, in their mid to late 30s in electric scooters to get around and can't breathe and don't want to leave their house and that they're terrified of things. That's not normal, right? So if this was working, how did we get here? If we've been here for 13.5 million years at this rate of decay, how are we not extinct yet? You know, how did this happen? So it's they're already trying propaganda to discount what's coming, but hopefully we can shine light on it. The roaches will scatter, and then we can show it. And then Kennedy is going to need us to do our part, which is to choose to stop eating the bull crap, which is to choose to not believe the fear mongering and go eat some meat, get free, stop taking drugs that we can, smart. You know, I don't want to, it's not medical advice, but stop taking unnecessary drugs. And it's going to be really fun to see what happens, but we can play a big part in that because we are, the consumers fund all of these big companies that are attacking us. And if we take away their power, which is their funding, they have no power. So we got to do that as a whole. Regulation can't do it for us. I've stopped using the word diet. I use way of eating. Absolutely, Tim. 100%.
Carnivore had taught me that weight loss takes a back seat while your body is reversing the damage. My weight loss has been slow, even though I have so much to lose.
Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Say that out loud.
Yeah, there's no rush. It's a, you know, this is a forever lifestyle change, and you know, it took us 50 years to get to this. Well, for me personally, it took me 50 years to get here. I don't expect it to happen overnight. So slow and steady wins the race.
Absolutely, 100%. I shooted because I didn't realize we had missed the super chat. Yeah.
Should I prime now at day 5 after falling off the wagon with 2 bad meals in a row? Eyes are oxalating at night, but starting to feel calm again.
Should I prime 5 days following? Yeah, prime now for sure. I think you should always prime your way back on the wagon because one, if you fell off the wagon in the first place, you probably weren't nourished enough yet. And 2, you need to have the most, you know, you need to have the most tools in your toolbox to fight, and not, you know, you don't want to fight this battle being getting satiated through any kind of fasting. Because I mean, still to this day, after 25 months, the only time that I am weak is if I am unprepared and don't have food around me when my body really needs to eat. That's the most vulnerable I am. So I would say definitely prime through it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, revenge fasting does not work. You need to nourish your body.
And then here's some more from her, or from Miss.
Carnivore since November 1st, fell off 10 days ago with the Chinese, followed by pizza the next day. Totally grumped me up. Inflamed, gallbladder spasms, harsher sugar craves than the first time, loving steak. Thanks for the treat versus chocolate concept, but for now, thank you for the chats. It's a great way to stay tuned in. Any safe re-entry snacks, thoughts besides my blueberries? Much love.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think blueberries are a safe re-entry snack either. No. I wouldn't do any of that stuff. At the most I would call a snack, I would say cheese, and that's a like-in for probably a short period of time. I think you know, blueberry, like, everybody can do their own thing, but I would get to, you know, BBB and E as fast as you can. Is my personal thoughts.
Yeah, if I turn to blueberries, that's going to turn my off switch on, and I'll be thinking about other things. I definitely can't do blueberries. The sweetness would just trip me and make me spiral. So definitely, yeah, bacon. Even make cold hamburgers and just have them in the fridge, just little burger patties, and then just grab those and eat them cold. So you've always got meat there, and just eat your way through it until you feel nourished enough to. If you want to do fasting later, but nourish and prime first.
For sure.
Anytime that you're struggling and you want to eat something that's not carnivore, just go and eat right away. Go make yourself some eggs with some sort of meat or something like that and fill up on that. The sooner you get food into you, the sooner you're not going to, you're not going to want to eat something else.
Yeah. You need that off switch back.
For sure.
Michelle, have you ever heard of itchy skin? Just started 2 weeks ago.
No, we all have experienced it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's a few reasons from it. Like also when your skin's, oh, good Lord. There's so many reasons for it, actually. So I'm going back all the way to the beginning. So I got itchy skin when I first started reversing neuropathy because I started getting nerve function again. That made my skin itch.
Circulation's moving again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you have circulation changes and your circulation increases, your skin itches. When you are getting nerve function back, your skin starts to itch and even burn. And then you go through some pH changes too that changes your skin. Then you start growing new skin after about 90 days and your skin starts to heal. That makes it itchy. And then you have a new relationship with the sun in your skin because your skin's different than it was before. And so instead of burning, you might just itch a little bit. That happened. And then when you oxalate dump, it's crazy itchy. You want to itch to the bone when you're oxalate dumping. So I guess the short answer is yes.
But it gets better. Like 3 years. 3 years in for me, and just a couple of months ago I had a big oxalate dump. So I had the tallow out, rubbing it all over my legs because they were so itchy, and that's all gone now. So but I may have another oxalate dump next year. Like I have no idea. But
they come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just part of the plan, part of you're cleaning out your body.
It's just temporary. Just push through. Drop my A1C from 14 to 5.6. Wow.
That is incredible. That is huge. Congratulations, Carnivore Hercules.
I bet you wouldn't even get that result with the drug.
No, I was just going to say that. The doctors ask you how you did it. Yeah.
I'm going to light Carnivore Hercules on fire right now. Did you do it with GLP-1s? He was a little bit upset over our last interview, and he was angry, which I don't blame anybody for, by the way, because I understand depending on what part of that you hopped in, it might have sounded like a GLP-1 infomercial, but I'm big on not doing what the other side does by censoring opinions. I think we have to be willing to offend people in conversation to get to the truth and to get to meaning. And so that's always going to be an open topic here, because the truth's going to win every time. So we got to be able to have that conversation in the daylight. And we don't do what the other side does, which is shadow ban, censor, shut down people's opinions. We have to fight it with truth and meaning, to get to the bottom of it. So anyways, I wanted to throw that out there, and we appreciate you, Carnivore. I totally get it though. All right.
Hi, Todd. I've been diagnosed with costochondritis, Tourette syndrome, and thoracic outlet syndrome, all trauma injury related. Thank you. I have vibration plate and rebounder, but it jars my ribs.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing this was. I'm trying to remember, but this must be the same one about the lymph node swelling up.
Maybe.
Yeah. So if that is the case, I'm sorry because that was a little while ago. But if you're the one with the swollen lymph node and you're saying that you can't do the vibration plate because of your ribs, I would say do what Lindy does and sit down. So try to make your ribs stationary and use your hips and your knees as a dampener, and sit in a seated position with your knees bent and just put your legs on it and see if you can do that gently without jarring your ribs.
With the rebounder, we're not bouncing very hard. It's just a really gentle bounce. So don't overdo it. It's just to get that pump action going, if you can do that. But if it's too hard, you can do the same thing. Sitting on a chair, put your feet on the rebounder and just use your feet to pump. So you're not using the top part of your body.
For sure. All right.
Dr. Kiltz interviewed another doctor today about microdosing the GLP-1. Interesting.
That's all right. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. We're going to be on Dr. Kiltz's show in 4 days.
Yeah, something like that. I think on the 30th.
30th, yeah.
Our thumbnails are up. Yeah.
Thank God I started getting up at 3:30 in the morning, because that means I have to get up at 2:30 for it to be on Dr. Kiltz's show to be ready by 3. Woo, he gets up early. Time zones. Now I know what it's like for Lindy all the time.
I am up early all the time, but I've always been a morning person, so it doesn't faze me. Yeah.
Wow. Alrighty.
Oh, you guys are looking mighty slim lately. Thank you.
I'm on the Slim Fast Meth plan, Papa. A little meth for breakfast, a little meth for lunch, and a sensible crystal meth dinner. Takes the weight right off you. That's a little my joke when people come up to me and say, "Man, you lost a lot of weight. What are you doing?" And I said, "Meth." And then they go, "Really?" I'm like, "No, carnivore, but carnivore doesn't seem as bad now, does it?" At least it's not meth. Because people, when people hear it for the first time, they act like you're doing meth. So I just started telling them meth, and then when I tell them carnivore, I already got the extreme reaction out of them.
I'm a member of SPG. Is that a great place to start? Oh, I have to say hello when you're in there.
Yeah, for sure. We met her today, actually. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we met her today. And when I think so. I think we did meet her today.
Oh, probably. We meet so many people. I'm there.
Your face definitely looks familiar. I believe we talked. It's just that I thought you had a different name, but I could be wrong. But if we did meet you today, it was nice meeting you. If that wasn't you, you have a twin with a different name. I'm pretty sure. You have a doppelganger, and she's very nice too. So come and meet your doppelganger and the team.
Could be your long lost twin sister. Huh?
Yes, but it's 100% the best place to start, I think. So very good to see you.
Can't think of a better trio with whom to be stuck on a Sunday evening. Oh, thank you, Cranky.
So good. John was my favorite person to hang out with in Arizona. It was awesome. I got to sit next to him during the presentation. It was awesome. All right.
Any tips for eating enough when you have a hiatal hernia? I've had it since childhood. It makes eating volume unpleasant.
What is a hiatal hernia again?
Up in here, a hernia, no, or down here a little bit. It's in your digestive tract.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, if you can't eat large volumes, don't. Just have a lot of smaller meals throughout the day. That's how I have to do it. I can't eat large volumes either. So you don't want to hurt yourself or push anything or feel uncomfortable. So just have 5 or 6 smaller meals, a couple of bites every hour, whatever you can, just to get the food in you, so you're not under eating.
Yeah, upper part of the stomach, you have a hernia.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Yeah, I don't have any experience with that. I have a massive hernia, but I forget what you call it, but it's where one side of the abs kind of pulled away. So it's the whole thing from like chest all the way down to waist type of thing. And I don't think that's the same thing. So I'm not sure, but I think what Lindy said was probably very correct. All right.
Hi, gang. Been away because had a heart attack on the 16th. Had all the tests in hospital, and I'm doing so great. Type 2D gone. A1C is 5.1. Woohoo! Carnivore saved my life. Oh, Anna. Yeah, I've been through the walls. So it's so nice to see you again.
For sure. Well, man, definitely let us know. Keep us up to date on how you're doing. Is Anna in SBG?
I think she is. Yeah.
I thought so too.
I think so.
Let us know if you're in SBG. You should come say hi to us in the open chat so we can check.
Yeah, we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's awesome that's helping and that you're doing great. But would love to talk to you about your heart attack and see what caused it, and maybe well, let me back
Dr.
this up.
Phil.
No, maybe retired physician Dr. Phil or retired physician Phil Smith will have some wise insight, not on that. So I nailed that. So just come in and talk to us. That's what I'm trying to say without. There's so many rules to follow around here. Jeez. Well, it's great to hear.
You're
from you.
lucky Michael didn't put you in the naughty room again.
No joke.
Hi, LaDonna. Tomorrow is my 5-month anniversary. No more depression, anxiety, and thoughts of suicide. Reduced I don't know what that is. High energy and no more chronic pain. Oh, congratulations.
That's awesome, LaDonna. And she's looking so much better too. I see
Jeez.
more and more
Yeah.
vibrance and life in her every day. That's awesome. And everybody out there, I believe it's, when is it? Is it tomorrow? LaDonna, put in there when your surgery is. And we're all praying for you while you're going through your surgery. So put that in the chat, and you can start a little prayer circle for you.
Is there a trick to the grounding mats or sheets? I've heard some say they don't notice a difference. Are all home outlets set up properly for the electrician?
You're asking the right guy, actually. No, they're not. Because look, if your home was built like if you're in the United States, I don't know what you crazy Aussies are doing over there for your your grid. But if you're in the United States and your home was built like pre-1970s, there's a good chance you don't have any grounds in your house, and so you have to run a ground rod outside because you don't actually have a ground. But literally, all the grounding outlet is literally just a grounding diode in the earth that is grounded to the earth, right? And so all the grounding outlets should be grounded. Now, there's some purists that say that you should separate your neutral from your ground or have a clean ground that goes all the way to ground. I've put a true RMS multimeter on my grounding mats, and I watch the transient voltage actually dissipate as soon as I plug it into the ground. But if you're worried about it at all, look, most every house has a nasty coax cable stapled to the bottom of your trim board outside and drilled through the wall for when you decided to get DSL or whatever back in the day, right? So do that same thing with a number 6 bare ground wire, solid bare ground wire copper, and then ground it yourself if you're really worried about it with even a 3-foot grounding electrode or in an acorn or however you want to do it. But that said, and look, the simplest way to do it is just get a cheap $20 Radio Shack home
Radio
meter.
Shack?
Yeah. You don't have Radio Shacks somewhere?
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, weren't they like back in the 70s or something?
Radio Shack's gone, man.
No, it's not. I have a Radio Shack in town here that's open right now.
Really?
Yep, swear to God. Yep, I just was there. I just before Max and
I think
Bella's
you've got
wedding,
a time machine over there.
No, look it up. In Bozeman, Montana, there's a Radio Shack. Before Max and Bella's wedding, I went and got the microphone that I used and the aux cables I used for their wedding. I bought at Radio Shack. No joke. So I don't know. I thought that was still a thing everywhere. Maybe Bozeman's got the last one. Maybe we're like the last block.
Yeah, there's still a few open. There's none around me. They haven't been around for years.
Yeah.
I love them. I love Radio Shack. I used to
too.
be in there all the time, man. Yeah.
For sure. Back when they had RC cars and they were on the edge of technology. Oh, yeah.
I wasn't buying cars. I was buying electronics.
I know you're building stuff and, your ham radios and you're trying to get to Mars. But listen, I got you. But they have, like, Radio Shack is one of the greatest places to actually get pretty decent but cheap off-brand electrical testers, like multimeters and ohm meters. And if you get a cheap ohm meter, you can test from ground. So go take you a little, tent stake and hook it to a copper wire and put your ground meter on it, and then test the outlet and see if you have ohms or resistance or continuity to ground outside. And you can test the outlet. Very simple to do. You can just run it right out the window or out the door. You can even use an extension cord, right? You can literally do that. Plug an extension cord into.
I got a lot of people in the comments saying that they want to see pictures of the Radio Shack, and I did look, and there are Radio Shacks still around.
Pull up Bozeman. Pull up Bozeman because there's one in Bozeman. Can you zoom in? Yep. Right there. I'm the only one. Oh no, there's another one up here.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not showing one in Bozeman.
Really?
Nope,
That's
they're
bull
showing
crap.
one up in here and here.
That's
So,
bull crap. It's
yeah.
right off of 19th Street, right next
Yeah, Todd.
to what are those restaurants there? I don't go there. It's right next to the GameStop. It's right next to I think there's a Domino's Pizza next to it, and then there's a Five Guys next to it. All the junk. But yeah.
They still got some locations around. I'm surprised. It's the first time I've heard them.
Right.
Yep.
It absolutely works.
As you can tell, I haven't been out of the house in 25 years.
Right.
So I don't know, but I know there's none around here.
I got you. Well, there's definitely one in Bozeman because I go to it quite frequently because they have still cool stuff. You know, you can go build a radio in there. You can go. That's where you get your soldering irons. That's where you get your fuses. That's where you get your resistors and transistors and diodes.
Yep.
You know, I mean, if you're a nerd, you can geek out in there. So, you guys never made a ham radio?
Fix something, yeah. Rebuild something, computer parts or whatever, yeah.
So
going there all the time. Yeah.
But you can get a cheap multimeter because if you go to the like Lowe's or something, they're gonna have more name brand ones that are like $100. But if you go to Radio Shack, they've got some decent ones.
Brands, so. They're
like $19, and you can get one and you can check the outlet. But anyways, on top of that, sorry. I know my first vertical live stream I'm doing when I get my new phone here. I'm gonna go stand outside Radio Shack and blast them. But the other thing on this question, we're having a hard time getting through this question. The other thing is, if you don't have, like 2 years ago when I was an inflamed wreck, of course they wouldn't have done anything for me. And the same goes with supplements. The same goes with, the beauty of carnivore is that it's an elimination diet so that you can shut all the noise down and you can stop introducing noise so that you can create silence. And then once you have silence, then you can see what grounding sheets do. If you're still an inflamed dumpster fire ball of wreck like I was, nothing's going to feel like it's doing anything because you have too much noise, too much chaos going on. So you got to get the chaos down, which I know Nancy's working on. So I'm not saying that she is, but you got to give it time for the chaos and the static, the noise to go down, and then just confirm. And so you could take an extension cord, plug it into an outlet, take the other, with the extension cord with the ground, plug it into an outlet, take it outside, the grounding prong on the other end, put your testing lead in there and put the other one in the ground. Make sure you dump some water and see if you have continuity to ground. And if it does, your ground electrode is good. So made it through that one. All right.
Oh, another Lindy. Hi.
That's awesome.
What does the eyes are oxalating mean?
Oxalate dumping, a lot of the people, it happens in your tear ducts and stuff in your eyes right here because it's like a port out of your body. So it starts pushing oxalate crystals out of the corners of your eyes through the tear ducts right here. I had that happen twice. I've passed 2 oxalate crystals out of my tear ducts.
Did it happen when you were at Radio Shack?
No, sir, it did not. The Radio Shack.
You didn't get a tear in your eye when you went to Radio Shack, Todd?
I always get a tear, but I get going to Radio Shack for me is like going to Disneyland for most people.
I'd like it.
It's awesome.
I don't know how it is, how it is today, but when I used to go, yeah.
Ours is a little small for sure. Like they're now, when I was a kid, they used to be big and they had everything.
It's probably somebody's garage and he's got a size of Radio Shack on it.
It's not somebody's garage. It's in a shopping mall.
No, I believe you. I know.
But it is smaller because when, back in the 90s, it was a big store, like kind of like a small Sears even.
Right.
And they had everything. And Christmas was the greatest time to go there because they actually had some of the coolest electronic toys. And that was the place to go. And it was awesome. So. Well, there we go, Mark Johnson. Get on it. we go have a field trip at Radio Shack. That'd be awesome. But it's there. It's it's right by Target and Costco and Five Guys and Gesundheit. That's where I get my iodine, is Dr. Gesundheit. So for sure, Mark Johnson's making a road trip. It's like going to see the last Blockbuster before they close.
There's only one left, yeah.
Did you guys all rent a video from Blockbuster and not return it on the last day they're open? I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, I wanted to rent a VHS and never return it.
Wow.
Want to guess which one it was?
With you, probably something rated R.
No.
What?
It was Rocky.
Oh, Rocky? Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted because that was my favorite VHS movie is Rocky back in the day,
Yeah.
and then Rocky was my favorite movie until The Matrix came out, and then actually till Braveheart came out, and then The Matrix. But yeah, it stood strong for a long time.
Hi, Sandra. Almost 11 months carnivore. I've been in a stall weight loss store for almost 4 months and gained 2 inches back on my tummy, only having ribeyes and water, HTO. Is this typical to be in a stall this long?
I've been in a stall weight loss for 4 months. Oh, for 4 months? Yeah. 4 months is not a long time at all to be in a stall. All right. So this is a different Sandra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 4 months gained 2 inches back on my tummy. So it's just probably fluid or something. Ribeye and water. Oh, ribeye and water only. Typical. So you're saying you're only eating ribeye and water. 11 months on carnivore, but in a stall. I think you're under eating. You're under eating. I think you're under eating. Tell them we need to know how much you're eating, but I think you're under eating because when you just do ribeye and water, if that's really what if that's all that you're doing, it's really hard to eat enough just ribeye and water, and then you under eat, and then your body holds on to everything. So I think you're in a starvation stall. I think your metabolism slowed down. If I had to guess, what do you guys think?
Oh, ribeye is definitely very satiating, so you can't eat a lot because you don't want to.
Yeah. That sounds like so let's keep an eye out for Sandra if she replies, but I think that's an undereating thing. And yeah, 4 months is not a long time to be in a stall. And it's especially a weight loss stall. That means almost nothing because the number on the scale means nothing because you could just be gaining. You maybe you're eating a lot of ribeye and you're gaining a bunch of muscle too. That can happen for sure.
Yep.
And then that makes even.
I use Heal by Heavens Mist to kill the itch, pain, and toxins on skin. Works fast. Water-based natural remedy. When I had the oxalates on my skin, it was red, richy, really raw, almost like a rash. And I just put tallow, stuff I eat, straight from the bucket on my legs. And that really soothed the itching. So, yeah.
For sure.
I just sent Dave Mack my story, not expecting anything, but it always feels good to tell it. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sure Dave will reach out. He's awesome.
Yeah, and everybody go.
Have you been interviewed by him? You haven't?
Me? No, I have.
Yeah.
I have not. I don't know why I haven't. It's just never lined up, and I was just always like, I just figured I would line up with Dave someday because I've been all around him. With everybody that he's with, I've just been all around his circle, but it's just never lined up, and so.
Yeah, I was interviewed by him, and it's probably one of my favorite interviews. He just makes it so comfortable because I get nervous, as you know. But no, his was really fun.
Yeah, and he's super good dude, so knowledgeable, and no joke. I mean, I meant every word to say that I look up his videos a lot to answer questions when like in our comments and stuff. People, that's a very common thing to say. Have you seen anybody heal from X, Y, or Z? And the first thing that pops in my mind is like, let's go look at Dave's archive and see if he's healed up over there.
Yes, he's lovely.
Yeah, and also Target Prime Rib has a YouTube channel. If you guys want to go, I'll check it out. It's good. It's good to subscribe to those because it helps keep Thomas, accountable and helps keep him focused. And then it also helps grow this ground root system of getting information out there so that, these on the boots on the ground bubbles can grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Hi, Mary. How do you tell the difference between oxalate dumping and histamine intolerance?
So, I think here's what I'm going to just give you my opinion. I'm no expert. So recently, I've been going on an oxalate dump of all oxidate dumps for myself. That's lasted pretty much 3 months, I think, and it's kind of snowballed. And I think I underestimated it, or I was going through some other different kind of detoxing. I really don't know. Here's all that I can say is one of the things that I was going through was I was having ridiculous nerve pain that was going down this finger right here, up this hand, all the way from here. It would start about here and it would shoot down, and it was this pulsing pain that had been happening for about 2.5 months. And sometimes I'd get a minute or two of relief and then it would come back. And it wasn't a 10 on the pain scale, but it was like a 6 or a 7. But what was wearing me out is that it just kept doing it, and it would wake me out of a sleep. It wouldn't stop doing it. And Alyssa and SBG said, along with the skin rash that was going on and the itching and the bleeding from the navel and the previous 3 kidney stones that I'd passed, it was feeling like it was definitely probably some sort of detoxing or oxalate dump or something like that. So she said to test it, to have a little bit of oxalates. And so she recommended drinking green tea. And so when I was driving to Arizona, I had a green tea. I think it was Arizona. Yeah, it was just, yeah, that's where I was driving. When I was driving there, I had a green tea. For the first time in 2.5 months, that went away, and it went away for 12 hours after one green tea. And that was my way of telling that it must have been oxalates, because if you get relief like that, that's pretty conclusive, then it's oxalates. Now, I've never had histamine intolerance that I know of, but I would assume a good way to do that would be to go on a low histamine diet and see if it goes, like if you have a little bit of oxalates through green tea, and Alyssa recommends green tea because it's the least inflammatory source of oxalates to get, and see if it slows it down or stops it, then that'll be proof positive that it's oxalates. If it doesn't, then try a low histamine diet for a little while, which I don't know a lot about it, but it sounds like it's just frozen to cooked lamb, right, for a little while to see if you can clear it up. Isn't that basically what low oxalate foods are?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm also speaking way over my head and out of my wheelhouse here. So, but that's my guess. Anybody else?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think oxalate dumping was a thing until I got that rash on my legs, and I'm like, "Oh, what other explanation is there?" Nothing had changed. It just came out of nowhere, and it only lasted a few weeks, and then it was gone. So I'm assuming that was an oxalate dump. But
that's awesome.
Do you have?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, no, I was just going to say basically, yeah. So, in my experience, it's been the green tea. So, oddly enough, I tried coffee, and then Alyssa was like, coffee doesn't have any oxalates in it, so that's not going to help. And I'm like, because I thought it probably did, because they were out of green tea when I went to get it the second time. So, don't do coffee. There's no oxalates in it, but green tea apparently has oxalates in it. And apparently, when you run out of oxalates, or you're dumping and then you run out of oxalates, your body starts making them or something. And so by introducing a little bit of it, it slows it down for some reason.
Alyssa's in the chat at the moment, Missy. She says take a antihistamine if that helps.
Oh, there you go.
If it is histamine. Yeah.
There you go. We're going to have to start having Alyssa on here to answer the oxalate questions, because I don't know anything about it other than they suck. And green tea helped once.
Oh, black tea, I think she said. Peppermint tea, there's no oxalates.
Black tea has the highest amount of oxalates. Green tea actually has the lowest.
Oh, wow.
So you want to drink black tea.
Is it okay to do weightlifting workout while doing an extended 72-hour plus fast?
Yes, it is. Just don't do deadlifts and don't stand up quickly. I was doing a 7-day fast and I was doing deadlifts and I woke up on my forehead, because you end up getting low blood pressure when on long fasts. And so you got to be a little more gentle, because standing up quick, you can black out very easily. And if you're really straining and stand up quickly, like on a deadlift, you might wake up on your forehead and wonder why you're kissing the floor mat. So yeah, you
Talking
can.
from experience.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So careful with that. But yeah, you definitely can.
G'day, Lindy. It's 39 here in Northern Vic at the moment, heading to 42. I'm finding that I'm tolerating the heat a little more as I go. 21 kilos down so far. How do you cope with the heat? Yeah, well, I think, it's going to be like 42 today, and I had the heater on this morning. I'm still feeling cold, so I don't know if I haven't been eating properly, so I could be under eating. And I think I ran out of thyroid medication, so that could be another reason. But yeah, I haven't really had the hot days, so normally I don't cope with the heat too much, but just say bring it on right now. I need it.
It's awesome.
You didn't cope too bad with the heat though, Todd, did you?
I didn't. I'm actually, so my whole life, remember in Kung Fu Panda when he went to the bottom of the stairs in front of the temple or whatever, and he was like, my arch enemy, stairs. Yeah. Well, mine was stairs and heat when I was big, or bigger, I should say. And now it's starting to be cold, which is a bummer because I live in the Rocky Mountains. But the cold was much easier to cope with 315 pounds ago than it is now. But the heat is absolutely becoming easier to tolerate. I'm both on my skin. I don't sunburn anymore. I don't overheat. I don't get like faint. I sweat better, which sounds ridiculous, but I didn't realize this, but I guess a big sign of your health and having neuropathy is not being able to sweat efficiently. And I used to not be able to sweat very good. I went from really sweating, then I got really big and sick, and I didn't sweat at all. And so I'd overheat in a hurry.
I don't think I sweat at all anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That'll come back though. But so what's weird is when you get in that position and you start having such bad neuropathy that you don't sweat at all, and which is a real
problem. Before going carnivore, I used to sweat all the time.
Me too.
And now I don't sweat at all if I'm moving around or anything like that. It's unreal.
Yeah. Well, I stopped sweating when I got real sick.
Right.
And I got neuropathy. And now I sweat more, but not like I did before, but better than I did when I got real sick and I got
you're sweating when you're actually doing something.
Here's what happens too. Yeah, and I still sweat when I'm doing something.
Right.
But I don't sweat by just breathing or standing up like I did.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Right.
For sure. But what I'm saying is when I got sick, I was trying to work out, not work out. I was trying to move, which would have normally made me sweat, and I couldn't sweat. I could feel like I wanted to sweat, but I couldn't. And it was really weird couple of years. And I guess that was from metabolic disease and neuropathy or something. They said that happens, but it seems to coincide with not growing hair on your legs anymore. When you lose your hair on your legs, which I did for a long time, now it's back. I'm an ape again. But when you lose the hair on your legs, it's neuropathy and some sort of blood flow problem. I don't know. It seems to coincide. Circulation and something metabolically going on with you that's really not good. You're metabolically sick when you. I think if we look it up, I think when you stop sweating and you stop growing hair on your legs, there's something going on metabolically that you're pretty sick, and that was happening for a while there, and now that's all back. So that's good. I forget what it is, but those two.
I'd love to know if there's any other carnivores that still burn, because I do. I hear everybody saying, "Oh no, since being carnivore, I don't burn." I don't know what it is.
I burn, but not like it's not the same. Like before, I'd walk out. Like my only two states of skin color was red and blistered with pussy blisters on it, or was ghost white. That was it. I didn't tan before, so I would go outside for 3.5 minutes in the sun, and I would turn into a blistery red bubble of pain, and then I would peel, turn, and there'd be pussy little bubbles and red blistered skin, and it would peel, and then it'd go back to white after. But now I can go out there and I can be out there for 30 to 40 minutes with no protection, and instead of burning in 5 minutes, I tan after about 20 minutes, and I can get a little red after about 40 minutes, and it can get tender, but it goes away in like a day. and it's not so bad. So I can still burn, but I also now tan. And once you take a tan, boy, that's awesome. I tanned or got out in the sun like, I don't know, a few times very shortly, and I got tan, and it lasted all summer. I was tan all into the late. Remember, my face was tan like all into the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was new. I've never been able to do that. This year is the first time that's ever happened in my life.
Well, Jay's saying the Australian sun is way stronger. Because I definitely burn, and then the itchiness is so bad. But I notice I'm not peeling and blistering like I used to, but I just get very itchy, and it's red raw.
Wow. What is the what do they rate that UV index or whatever? Because like 11 is really high. Like that's like 11 is like 11 and 12. I think is like Hawaii. My brother's always talking about that. In Hawaii, I think it's like 11 and 12.
I don't know. I think Michael's on it, is he? No, I wouldn't have a clue.
All right, I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to look up the UV index in Sydney or in Melbourne.
Oh, I'll get it, Todd.
Thank you, Todd. That's why some people aren't having results, and because of the noise and static. Yeah, in regards to the grounding.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I really do, because I say this all the time about like supplements, right? I used to. This is one of the reasons that I thought, okay, I'm a defect. I'm a factory defect. I'm a misshapen Cheerio that came out of the machine or something, because everybody would be like, oh, I take this supplement. It's been so awesome. It does these 5 miracle things and, whatever. And everybody always had something that they did that made this great amount of difference. And I would take it and I would be like, it doesn't do crap. I can't feel nothing. Nothing ever worked. So I was convinced that all supplements were bull crap. All homeopathic remedies were bull crap. That nothing made a difference. I have no meaning to life. Like basically I was definitely a curmudgeon, and nothing ever worked. And then I got on carnivore, and then I started taking supplements like D3, K2, iodine, amino acids, these things. Some of them still didn't seem to make a massive difference, but some of them did. And amongst the things at the top of the list is iodine, D3, K2, and grounding and Wim Hof breathing. Those things actually make a tangible difference that you can measure in a short period of time. But I could never hear that before because of the noise. So let's see.
And Thomas, oh my God, he answered me back for my time schedule. This month is being so good to me. Just one more thing to be grateful for.
That's awesome, Thomas. Well, good work. We can't wait when you get it posted in SBG, and you can shout it out to us, and we'll post the link here on our live stream too. So good work.
Here, Tim sending a picture of the Bozeman Radio Shack.
That's why you haven't looked up anything. You were over there photoshopping your butt off. That is funny. Can you pull that back up? Actually, I'm looking at that building. Did you get that out of Bozeman?
No, I don't know where Tim got that. Tim actually sent me that.
Oh, Tim did that. Good work, Tim. That's awesome. You know what's funny? That I kid you not, that actually looks like a building that still stands in Bozeman. Yeah. Do you guys have these there? What building that reminds me of is off of 7th Street in Bozeman, and it's a really old building, but it's a state. Do you guys have this there? It's a state liquor store. So the state gets the money. Like Montana has state liquor stores where you can go buy alcohol, and the state makes the money off of it, and it helps go to whatever state. It's almost like a tax. But states will put up buildings and sell alcohol to the people to make money off of it, and that looks like, I don't think it's still there. I think it's an Army Navy surplus or something now, but it's there's a building that looks just like that in Bozeman. It's pretty funny. Todd, when do you do your Wim Hof breathing? In the mornings. So it only takes about 11 minutes, 8 to 11 minutes, depending on how many waves you go through. And it's a good way to wake up in the morning, and it gives you a lot of energy, and you do it before you even sit up, because doing it flat is the best way to do it, because you end up with lymphatic blockage
Right.
when you're bent and sitting in your waist. So when you're laying down flat and you do Wim Hof breathing, it moves the diaphragm to open up anything that's been pinched or restricted in the waist. So yeah,
And
there it is. Next to
Domino's.
Domino's.
Next to Domino's.
Yeah, it was next to Domino's, and then see next to it is the Five Guys, and then further down is the Gesundheit. Like if you go down and down, and then after H&R Block, there's Gesundheit right there. Yeah, Gesundheit. That's where I get my iodine, and then there's Subway. That's where I get my beauty tans.
I was just gonna say this is where you go for your tans, and then across the street you go for your massage, right, Todd?
Yeah, right. Well, and then right around the corner is GameStop, where I used to, when I was a video game junkie, I used to go to. Yeah, that's funny. I told you there was a Radio Shack. You didn't believe me.
I didn't believe you, no. I had to go check.
I was going to say, Michael, we haven't seen Todd's toddler photo we all love so much.
Oh,
Which one? We've got a few now.
Good Lord.
I'll find one.
Here we go. Why did I click
I'm
that?
gonna get kicked off the show, huh?
I got to start reading these before I put them up on the screen. Don't encourage him, Thomas. Just do not encourage him. Yep,
here.
the good old days.
There we go. Super carnivore.
Everything's fake except for the abs. The abs are real. Everything else is way out of line.
I love that one. That's super cute.
That'd be absolutely. Bozeman, Bozeman, actually. But it looks like it's in Bozeman. Seriously, that building looks very familiar. That's pretty funny.
I like to see what the temp is in WA, Western Australia, as I get those temps about 3 days later. 29 is more pleasant. Yeah, Perth gets the weather first, hot weather, and then it sort of makes its way to Melbourne. So we just know if it's so hot over there, it eventually comes down to us, unless the wind changes.
That's awesome. Oh, good Lord. I have to start banning these comments.
Well, I didn't see that one.
Nothing. You didn't see it. No big deal. Nothing to look at. Nothing to see here, Michael.
Make it next year's Christmas photo.
You couldn't show my favorite one that you made. Michael actually made one really good photo that I love.
Only one?
Well, you've made a few. Well, actually, I really like the Family Guy one you did too. I thought that was hilarious. But you know the one I'm talking about, the one that I really like.
I know.
The one that captured the essence of me.
He was doing the Aussie salute.
That's your cue to flash it. Anybody that's faint of heart, look away.
Well, hold on. I don't have that one ready to go. I got this one ready.
Yeah, I do love that one. That one was hilarious. See Dr. Baker? I thought that was funny. And Tim is there.
Little baby Todd.
Look at, he even put us in the pictures in the background.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to do it right, man.
That one was awesome. I thought that was funny.
And then I got this one. So this is what I did. This is what gives me entertainment, you know.
I'm glad I can be your inspiration.
Let's see. And we've seen this one before, but it's the old one.
That was funny. And you know what's really sucks is Nirvana for a long time. That was my favorite album for a long time. So let's see. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything in the comments. Yeah, Michael's hilarious.
Here, you missed this when you went to the bathroom, Todd. I want to know how your trip was.
That is hilarious. You should. Oh my gosh. No, my head's way too small.
I know, but
yeah, but
I had to make the hat fit.
It looks like Village People meets Beetlejuice when he had the head shrinking powder. But that was awesome. All right. Did I get to everything? I think we got it. You guys have quieted down. You guys have any more questions? Yeah, that's my favorite one. I do like that one quite a lot. I don't know why. That one makes me laugh every time, and I will send that out as my own Christmas card next year for sure. I love that one. All right. Let's see. Did I miss anything?
I think we're all up to date.
There we are.
Well, shoot. Now what are we going to talk about? You guys don't want me to just sit here and riff and put Michael to sleep. He'll start walking into traffic aimlessly.
Got no stories for us today? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Buffalo just tied the game. That's what's happening. I forgot we're coming down to the Super Bowl. There we go. Here's some questions.
Oh, hi, Nicholas. Have any of you had it where every joint and limb just hurts? It suddenly came up, and I was wondering if it is more than.
I don't know. I mean, yes, absolutely. That was one of the things that I just went through. I thought it was the flu. Here's what I thought happened. I thought I was going through an oxalate dump or some detox because I got the kidney stones, and then that turned into these rashes that turned into bleeding from the navel, which was really pleasant, and then turned into 2 really swollen knees, and that followed by apparently catching a flu. And the flu symptoms of that flu was like every joint in your body swelling up and hurting. Felt like my legs got hit with sledgehammers for about a week. Was exhausted, tired. And I couldn't tell. I thought that my immune system was just a little bit taxed from all the oxalate dumping, but it could have been more oxalate dumping, except for that there was other people in my family that were complaining about the same aches and pains. So I think I just caught the flu, and the only symptom was aches and pains in the joints. But that's what I'm wondering if that happened to you. I'm in Montana. I don't know where you're at, Nicholas. But I do know there was a bug going around because my family was having that same problem and it was just very recent, like up until 4 days ago. All right. Nice and cool.
What kind of iodine do you use? Have you ever used Natcent? Is that a brand?
I've never tried that. I've never heard of it either. I use J. Crow's Lugal's 5%, and I take 20 drops. I've never heard of that brand. Let me know if you like it or if it seems to work for you. All right. I've been thinking about getting a shirt that says I've done the math. The answer is bacon. That's perfect. You absolutely should do that. The answer is almost actually, you know what you should do? That's really great. But have you ever, you should definitely make that anyways. But here's an idea to go out of that. Remember, I don't know how old you are or if this makes sense, but there was I don't know, this was back like in the 90s or maybe even the 80s or something. They did they made like a supercomputer and they asked it a question, what is the meaning of life was the question, and the answer was 42. And so it'd be funny if you made a shirt that says no, it's not 42, it's bacon. Because the meaning of life very much might be bacon. But that's a great shirt. You should definitely make it. That's awesome.
I think the body starts healing right away on carnivore and goes through many owies and new odd experiences in the beginning, I found.
For sure. Well, and I mean, it keeps doing it. I mean, this is why I think it's an body composition, optimal diet. It's healing. And I think it spends time, going through maybe 3 or 4 decades of poor life decisions. It has to go through that and remedy them and kind of detox and get rid of things. And so I think there's some ups and downs in the healing process for sure.
And we talk about like having all the toxins are stored in our fat. And when you've got so much fat on your body, as you lose it, that those toxins are released. And over time, they've got to come out somewhere. And 3 years in your journey, and I'm still getting toxins being released.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they overwhelm your system. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Did I miss anything? Which one of these are we on?
I think
we're all caught up, no?
Well, I feel like there's...
I think it's going to be on Dave Mack's show.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right away. That's good.
That's awesome. Well, good work. We can't wait to hear your story on there.
And Sandra's back as well. She's the one that eats the ribeyes and water. Okay. She's 5 inches tall, 62 years old, having 1.5 ribeyes and water per day. Once in a while, eggs and bacon too. I eat when hungry. Am I still under eating?
I would say yes. I don't know how big your ribeyes are, so
1.5. Well, 1.5. Well, yeah, 1.5. Yeah,
ribeyes. So, yeah, because it's like, are they 8-ounce ribeyes? Are they half-inch thick? Are they 2 inches thick?
Yeah, they could be tiny.
Yeah. Everything sounds like you're not eating enough to me.
14 ounce.
Okay, so you're all right. Hold on 1 second. Go back to that other one, because how big?
So she's eating about 21 ounces of.
Right. What's the 1.5 pounds? A little over. Right, because 16.
1.5 inches.
24.
So,
how many ounces is she eating? 21.
Well,
Yeah,
it depends
21.
on how she wrote it. Did she write it 1.5 pounds, or did she write it 1.5 and there are 14 ounces each one? So she's eating 1.5. It'll be 21 ounces.
Yeah, so that even if she was eating 21 ounces, that's not less than 1.5 pounds. And she's 5 foot tall, so she's not huge, but she's probably looking for like 120 pounds. Yeah, I mean, I think you need at least 36 ounces of ribeye a day, at least, just to start with. And if you're healing, I know, remind me, but I think she was 11 months carnivore.
Yeah, I think so. And
she's healing, and like Alyssa said, the older you get, the more protein you actually need to maintain. So yeah, I would try. Sandra, are you in the Steak and Butter gang? I would highly recommend you join the Steak and Butter gang at least for a month, and they can help you get on a priming protocol, which helps you go through some exercises to see if you're eating enough and try to open up your appetite to eat a little bit more to heal. And I think you could really benefit from a community that would help you do that.
There you go.
Oh, no worries. You're welcome.
She was carnivore for 11 months.
Okay, awesome. All right. No worries, Sandra. We look, and if you do join the SBG gang, say hi to us when you're in there. We'd love to meet you. All right.
Yeah, we do have a SBG open chat, which goes for 5 days, 2 hours a day. We just sit in a Zoom call. There's usually Todd and I, Alyssa, who is in our chat. And sometimes the coaches will come in, or the retired Dr. Phil, and we just chat about anything carnivore. We troubleshoot, motivate, inspire, give each other support, help. It's a really good place to come and troubleshoot these things.
Oh man, my brain's not working. I'm trying to remember. That's awesome. No worries driving. What I had a question for Kit too. Let me go back. Todd, I've been thinking about getting oh, there we go. Yeah, you had okay, that was your comment. That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, I love the shirt though. That's a great idea. I do. Kevin Bacon. That's funny. That's funny too. Make him the ambassador of carnivore.
All right. I do love his shows.
It is Footloose. Remember that one?
Oh.
Back in the day.
I liked The Following. Did you ever watch that one?
Following was
series?
good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
My favorite's still Tremors, though. You guys ever watch Tremors?
No, I don't know that one.
You
It's a
didn't watch?
series or a movie?
I
There's
think
a
he made.
movie.
I think there's two of them. When they're Tremors 1 and 2.
Yeah. Second one wasn't as good, was it?
No, it wasn't. Never is. But
No.
Tremors 1 is it's a cult classic for sure. Let's see. SBG is an amazing message board and chat. I hope to be in the SBG more often. That's awesome. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, Missy saw a shirt today.
Zach, oh sorry, we were clicking at the same time. Tremors, laughing out loud, bad sand snakes. Absolutely. They know what we're talking about.
Praise the lad.
Lord. That's awesome. Had a double line. That's hilarious. See, now we got all the best Tremors quotes. He broke into the wrong rec room. That's exactly right. I wish I had a mustache like that. That was awesome. That was some stuff they could only come up with back then. Now it's turned into just absolutely Tremors was a great movie. That was awesome.
I might have to get my hubby to look into that and download it. Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
No.
They don't know who her husband is, and she didn't make him do it. But I wouldn't advertise it either. Oh man, this is gonna be Jailbreak 2.0.
We're all gonna get kicked off.
Sorry.
We don't want to earn it. We don't want to earn getting kicked off.
I need to catch up and get myself banned. Get a strike.
That's funny.
Pig skins is baked healthier.
Depends
Well,
on,
you don't want to put
yeah.
seed oils on it, so
No, but the ones you want are pig skins fried in their own fat. That's what you want. But if they're fried in a seed oil, then no, they're not healthier baked because you want more fat, but you don't want bad fat. So if it's seed oils that they're frying it in, then it's bad. Then they would be, I guess, healthier. But no, the fried ones in pig fat is good. Good Lord, really? I didn't see it past 2, but they must have really sucked if they didn't make it on my radar past 2. They all can't have Kevin Bacon in it.
No,
I was going to
not.
ask, do they or
No, probably not.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, for sure. Go back to the original for sure.
Actually, there's 7.
Good gosh, how many are Kevin Bacon in? Just 2?
Yeah, I'm gonna say just 2.
So when are we doing a movie night?
Soon. I do want to watch it now. That was an awesome movie. Yeah, Ryan just looked it up too. Wow, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah, Bacon was only in the first one.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Well, that's how little I remember even about the second one. I just know the first
one. Fred Ward was in the second one.
Oh,
Michael Gross was in all 3.
Yeah.
And he came back for the last couple of them too. So
man, I just don't want to.
There was a TV series.
Oh, good Lord. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Miss Hooligan, did I miss a question being answered about fasting exercise? Yes, I said you can lift fasted. It's just that on long fasts, your blood pressure drops. And so I found out the hard way, try not to stand up quickly when you're lifting. So if you're reaching down to grab your weights, I was deadlifting and I went and herk and jerked and I woke up with on my forehead in the mat on the floor because you pass out really easy because your blood pressure is low. And if you're straining, so you can do things, but you shouldn't do things like deadlifts or standing up really quick or jump jumping jacks or something, because you will get lightheaded and you can pass out. And thank God I'd put some nice soft rubbery mats in my garage, or it would have been forehead on the concrete. So but yeah, watch out for that, because you can black out for sure.
Oh, and the subject of hot drinks, what's your favorite again? I make an egg colada. So you do 4 egg yolks, tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of tallow, and then fill it up with hot water from the kettle. And I blitz it in a NutriBullet. You can put a bit of salt in there. If you do sweetener or a bit of cinnamon, you can put that in there, but I don't, just whether you want to or not. And you can have it hot. Really nice to have at nighttime. It's not heavy. And yeah, I love it. And you can actually pop, like if you make it at night, put it in the fridge and have it chilled the next morning. It does separate, so you just give it a shake and then drink it in the morning chilled. That's really nice to have in summer.
And what I'm doing right now is on Lindy's community page, I'm putting the recipe for it up there. I thought it was up there. I thought I had it up there, but it was Todd's recipe for his soda drink. Yeah.
Oh,
so if you go up on Lindy's page right now, I just posted it up on her community page. So if you go under the tabs for her recipe's up there.
I think I've got a short for it on I don't know if it's on YouTube.
I posted your video too as well. It's tied to it.
Thank you. Yeah, nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you for that, Michael.
Yep.
Nancy, maybe I'm still under eating. 70 years old, 148 pounds, goal weight 130, gained 18 pounds since 29th of September, is it? When started carnivore, priming started 11th of the 3rd for 17 days. How much protein is your recommendation?
Well, I mean, you'd want to start out at least 130 grams of protein, if not more, and you would want to be eating, around 80-20 protein to fat, and that takes work, and you might want more. You might want to be, 140, 150, 160 grams if you're priming and trying to catch up on some, nourishment deficit for sure. So, but yeah, I would say at least 130 to 140 grams of protein would be a good starting point. And then, but that's why they do the fasting program, so you can push it to see if you can open up your appetite. And ultimately, what you want to do is you want to get your appetite to tell you how much it wants, And so that's kind of the goal. Let's see here.
I posted it to all our channels. So
that's awesome. Am I missing anything? Okay, we got that one out of the way. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's awesome. We appreciate you so much.
We do. Yep.
This one right here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Mine doesn't. I've got a proper NutriBullet, and that seems to be okay. But do not put hot water over that maximum mark, because it does explode. So I always have it, just a couple of millimeters.
I wouldn't put boiling water into it, because there's a seal on the bearings for the blade. So you'll leak from that. So you got to be very careful with that. If the water's too hot, I do have a leakage in mine sometimes. If the water's too hot.
You? Yeah, I've never had an issue, because the eggs and all that stuff's out of the fridge. It's cold, so when you're pouring the hot stuff in.
But not boiling water. Don't put boiling water in there.
Yeah, I'll do it straight from the kettle.
Be careful. You're gonna ruin your seal on your
probably
on the blade.
Yeah. Well, it's lasted a while. I've been doing them for a long time.
And it's plastic. Plastic. You don't want to heat up plastic like that to 212 degrees. Too hot.
Yes, boss.
Microplastics.
I've been told.
For sure.
If needing to make snacks to take to the office on the road besides bacon, what's the best meat to cook and slice it up to keep on hand?
Hamburger cookies.
Yeah, because they're nice cold, and that fat, especially if you've got digestive issues, and yeah, nice fat cold fat.
And I particularly like to grind my own meat and then add bacon, 20 to 30% bacon into it, and then smoke it. And then you have smoked bacon burger cookies. And a little
And I do, yeah, if I've got like leftover steaks or lamb or whatever, I'd shave it really finely and stick it in the dehydrator and make jerky out of it. And that's really nice to put in a little Snaplock bag and carry around.
For sure.
Well, since we're a little slow tonight, I think we're going to do this.
Oh, no. I don't know what this is going to be, but it's not going to be good.
Up his smoker just as dawn kissed the sky, in his slippers and his robe, with a twinkle in his eye, a ribeye on the grate, seasoned up with care. He whispered, "You're my soulmate, no love can compare." With a rub and a flip and a hickory kiss, Todd said, "Steak like you, pure smoky bliss." The neighbors peeked over, but Todd paid no mind. True love like this is the rarest you'll find. Oh, Todd's in love with a ribeye steak, smoking it slow for that perfect flake. Forget the world, he's got beef on his mind. Todd and his ribeye, a love so refined. Todd prepped his steak just right, never froze it first. Said cooking from frozen, now that's the worst. It's a sin, he declared, against steak and taste. A ribeye deserves a smoker, not your frozen paste. The wood chips crackled, the smoke curled high. Todd gave a nod to his ribeye pie. Even his dog, she stayed out of the way. Todd and his steak had their sacred day. Oh, Todd's in love with a ribeye steak, smoking it slow for that perfect flake. Forget the world, he's got beef on his mind. Todd and his ribeye, a love so divine. And when it was done, Todd wiped a tear. He plated that steak like it was a premiere. Each bite was a moment, tender and sweet. A man and his ribeye, nothing competes. Oh, Todd's in love with a ribeye steak. Every smoky second was his heart's big break. Forget the world, it's a bond so rare. Todd and his ribeye, the perfect pair. So if you see smoke and hear Todd hum a tune, know he's with his ribeye under the moon. And cooking from frozen, don't even begin. Todd and his steak know it's the ultimate sin.
Clearly, Michael, you and AI have written the perfect country song. That's what just happened there. That's going to be on the Billboard Country Music Top 100 for sure.
Hey, the crowd's going nuts. Look at the chat.
Well, now we have a new intro song, and our intro is going to be 6 minutes. What AI did you use to make that? That was awesome.
Mine.
Secret.
Your own AI, you jerk. Oh man, Michael's going to have me singing some terrible things soon. That's awesome though. That was funnier than shit.
Now we just need the music video to go with it.
Working on it. It's coming.
Oh, good Lord.
Little Todd's been practicing. He was out in Nashville, man.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is about to get Michael's gonna have me tap dancing on YouTube here pretty soon. You know, I always
It's
thought
Todd's ringtone when he calls me on the phone. I got that sign in there.
I always thought when everybody was being hyperbolic about the AI taking over and it's not going to be used for any good, and you know it's going to turn elections and all this stuff, I was like, that'll be years. And now Michael's using it as terroristic warfare against me. Well done, sir. Now that was funny. I'll give it to you on that one. That was funny. So is that going to be our new theme song? You should make one for a theme song for 700 plus.
Yeah, we need to update our photos soon.
You guys taking photos?
Have you?
No, I don't take photos.
I've
I've been in a year-long stall.
Yeah, you're having the lymphatic problem though, so that's all right. All right, I'll take some photos, and next time Max took some photos of me when I was down in Vegas. We'll take some photos and we'll get it put together. But all right, now we gotta go clean up the aftermath you just caused here. Let's see what happened. We are not tonight. We miscalculated. We thought they gave us 30, but they only gave us 20, and we're splitting them all up. But don't worry, they will be coming back soon. And on wait a minute, do we have no matter what, we're gonna give one away next do we have anybody coming on next Sunday?
Nothing.
No.
No. All right, we'll give away a tasty air fryer next Sunday for sure. So we'll do one next Sunday for sure. But no, we have to recalibrate. All right.
How long before and after we eat should we stop or start drinking water for optimal digestion?
I think it's
at least an hour before you shouldn't eat because you're suppressing your appetite. So yeah, I
would say honestly, some people say an hour, some people say a half hour. I think it matters how much of it you're drinking. If you drink like I drink, then probably an hour. If you drink like Lindy drinks, then probably 20 minutes or 10, because Lindy sips like a little field mouse. You know, she doesn't drink much.
Right.
So.
No, if I'm going to eat, I definitely don't drink anything because I won't get any food down. So I don't drink much at all.
Yeah, for sure. Todd, was that written for you? If so, by who? By this guy right here. That guy wrote it with his AI because he's a giant butt snarf. That's why. That's why.
Butt snarf.
Butt snarf.
I can come up with more versions.
You will, anyways. I don't negotiate with terrorists, sir. Do your work, you minion. Yeah, you little minion. He's coming. Michael loves to terrorize us, but we love it because it is funnier than hell. So, but yeah, Michael wrote it.
So why do you hate frozen steaks in the air fryer so badly? The song made me have to ask. He's lost for words.
Well, I mean, no, I'm trying to remember that part in Joe Dirt where he's like, I don't know, why is the sun good? You know, like, because wrong is wrong and right is right, and you don't decimate the sanctity of that is the ribeye by being so disrespectful to cook it from frozen. You don't do it. It's terrible.
If I had ribeyes every day, I would do them your way for sure. But because I don't eat ribeyes every day, I just have my little Scotch fillet, which is really thin, and it's fine in the air fryer.
For sure.
But if I'm going to have a cheat meal, it does feel like a cheat meal when I have a ribeye because it's expensive and it's something I look forward to. I'll cook it properly.
For sure. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You kind of won me over there.
Well, you had it. I mean, that's just the thing too. Once carnivores, I think, become the best cookers of steak and the best stewards of cooking good meat. And once you do it, like, here's what drives me nuts: is it's almost as hard to make a ribeye from frozen as it is from a ribeye from not frozen, or any steak from frozen to not frozen. And once you've had enough of them, the best that they can be, you don't want them. You don't want to save a minute or two and then you know, knowing what you could have made. And so that's what drives me nuts about them. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, but absolutely. My email is thecarnivorecure@gmail.com. Feel free to email me. And then, all right, where did I miss anything?
Nothing that I've seen.
Well,
How do you feel about frozen beef patties?
why do people do this? And I think that you do whatever makes you happy, but I think that I would rather not.
If you're at a cooking bulk and you're making them yourself, you could probably freeze them and then just do them in the air fryer.
Well, I don't know what
frozen beef patties are going to be a lot thinner than a thick
right,
steak.
True,
Right.
very true. And that's less of a problem. But the problem that I have with it is it depends on what temperature you like them cooked at. And I just don't like okay, here's what I also don't like about cooking any kind of meat from frozen is that you have the water content from being frozen in the meat. And then you have the white tissue, and the white tissue is going to break down. And then the water is going to be in the steak, and the water kind of pulls as it's getting steamed out and opening up the fibers of the steak. It's kind of pulling out the fat and the juices out of the steak, which is the flavor. That's why every time I cook a steak, you know, I haven't cooked a lot of them, just like 2 or 3, but I've also not 2. I've cooked 2 steaks from frozen. And I don't know that I did it right, but I've also accidentally, you know, before carnivore, cooked meat that was frozen and thought I'll just make it work in the oven or whatever. And it never was right because it always has this, it either has a watered down taste to the inside of it that I didn't enjoy, or it was overly dry. And I thought about it, and I think it's because when the steam is coming out and the water is coming out, it's pulling out some of the juices and the fat of the steak too. So, which is awesome, you know, if you have water in the steak and you're cooking the inside and it's creating steam and you're steaming the inside of the steak, that's literally how a microwave works. That's why you can put, you know, which I don't like microwave meat, you know, and you could put like a paper plate in the microwave and the paper plate doesn't get hot. And if you put a piece of, I don't know, if you put just a plastic bowl in the microwave, it's not going to get hot either. But if you put anything that has water molecules in it, it excites the water molecules. The water molecules rub together and they create friction and they steam, and then they steam the inside of your food. That's why only things with moisture in it get hot in the microwave, but it creates steam in the inside of your food. And what happens in a microwave, if you cook things very long, you warm them up just to the edge. But if you cook them too much to get the water out of the steak, which is what you want, then it steams the inside and it dries it out. So I have a hard time cooking the steak or cooking the hamburger from frozen enough to get the water out without losing the rendered juices of the fat and white tissue that I like so much. And that's my argument. That's why I don't think it's good. But that's just me. And I am a little broken in the brain. So I could be completely wrong.
Just a little?
He's a meat snob.
I am a meat snob. I'm meat.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right. Let's give Michael his.
What?
Let's just start going through this. We'll give Michael his praise.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. It was pretty good. I'm just seeing all these for the first time. He is awesome. He's doing a good job. Can somebody else get on his radar though?
It's just payback for all the pictures you sent me when I was fasting, man.
Oh, there.
That's
I'm keeping them coming for sure.
Yeah.
It's on now. We're going to war.
All right. I got another one I'm looking for. I'm trying to find it.
Oh, we did that one. Butt snarf. Butt snarf. Yep, there you go. That was a insult from my youth. I'm really loving the sous vide. It just takes longer, but if you can do that, absolutely, it's my favorite too. But it takes longer if you do it individually, B-Dog. But if you volume meal prep, you can do a bunch at once, leave them in the vacuum seal bag, put them back in the refrigerator, and then just put them in there to warm up for like 20 minutes and bring it back up to temperature, and everything's rendered still under a vacuum. So you're not having any evaporation problems, and it's still really good for sure. Oh, we did that one. Sorry.
I forget what. Yeah, what's that?
Oh, I think an SPG. What did you say? I think I think you got to email what's the SBG email, Lindy?
sbgchallenge@gmail.com.
Yeah, send it there, and they'll get you scheduled for, there's a list of people, but they'll get you scheduled for your story eventually. So
Seems to me that frozen in the air fryer would be quick and easy, black and blue, and with Melton's smoked sea salt, it would be awesome. I enjoy it, but yeah, we've got little thin steaks, and I agree with your big, thick prime ribs that we would need to do them properly.
Yeah, and I do think that that's part of my problem too. Is I've only ever done like
his are like this thick.
The 2
inch. Like, that would be hard to air fry. That wouldn't even fit in my air fryer, to be honest.
Well, you may have the same air fryer, right? And so I cut my steak just so, here's what's stupid. This is how my brain is broken with that air fryer. We have the same air fryer. You know that round screen, smoke screen? In the top? I pull it out to give myself a 1/4 inch more room.
More room? Yeah.
Yeah, and I cut them just big enough that it bumps up against that coil under the round screen, and that's how thick they are.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't put frozen in a tasty air fryer? Really? I didn't know that. I mean, I hope they make that a law or something. Save a lot of innocent steaks from being decimated. But yeah. Yes, that is true, Nancy. It absolutely does. I'm talking from a pure standpoint, but from the histamine standpoint, you're 100% right. For those of you stuck with the histamine train, you absolutely have to do it. It's definitely a huge tool. And there's other things you have to do, but that's a huge tool to help people with histamine for sure. So sous vide for the win, then a quick sizzle in the frying pan, absolutely. Or a salamander, those are good too. Or a Searsall or a weed burner, those are all good. Question, Todd, have you decided if you're going to Las Vegas for the I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm buried at work right now. I wish I could, but I'm not going to be able to make it. It's just not going to work out. I was thinking about going to Tampa, and that's a 50-50 right now, but I have a mountain of work to get unburied with next week, so it depends on how next week goes. But this is our busy season. This is when all the jobs bid. This is when everything just starts flooding in. And because of the new administration, it's even on this side of the coin, on the administration wise, when this happens, it gets extra busy, and it's crazy right now. So pray for me. I gotta get caught up.
Yeah, bringing the meat up to room temperature before you cook is really the best.
Yeah, and I mean, that one, I don't mind it. I think it's good for some reasons. I think it's good to bring it up to room temperature to brine it to get some of the moisture out of it, but it doesn't actually. I have done those both ways, and it doesn't actually make a big difference, to be honest with you. I used to think that too, and then I tested it out a little bit. I think somebody said that Chris Cooking Nashville or no, it was Guga. I think Guga at Guga, at Sous Vide Everything and Guga Foods tested it, and I think he came up with the same thing, that that's not the biggest of things. The only place that I found that actually makes a tangible difference is when you're salt brining it. Well, it does a couple of things. When you're salt brining it, it makes a tangible difference because it when the meat when the meat cools down or whatever, warms up and gets more pliable, seems like it releases a little bit more moisture, which I think is a good thing. And also the ambient thermals of the cold meat doesn't cool your grill down faster. So like if you don't have a very strong or very hot grill and the cold thermals in the steak can kind of slow it down, that can be true too. That can help.
Let's just are you finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to put this up there one more time.
Yes, that's awesome. We
Before the
appreciate
show's
y'all so much. And again, we are on the home stretch. We got 18% left to go. We'd love it if you guys, if you can help us with even just putting it out there in social media and passing along the word and passing around the link. We appreciate it. And even just with thoughts and prayers, we appreciate that too. We've got Lindy on the home stretch, and we know here on February 6th, right?
Coming up.
February 6th, we're going to get her that surgery, and she's
11 days. Yep.
She's going to finally get rid of that skin. So at least the first part, because how many surgeries is it going to take? So they do the front apron first, and then arms, legs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. The stomach is the thing that I need to get done because that's really impacting me. The rest I can live with. Yeah, long sleeve shirts and a skirt I can deal with that.
You nervous?
But yeah. I haven't really had time to think about it. So yeah, just keeping busy. That's how I operate. I just keep busy until I have to deal with it. If I think too hard about it, I will get nervous. Right. Just putting my trust in the doctors, but I do trust the doctor. Like I've done my homework, but
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I find frozen steaks are more tender.
I have not found that, but again, it might be a thickness thing.
Yeah,
that could be a thickness thing.
Yeah.
If your steaks are thinner, that would make sense. If they're thicker, I don't think that makes as much sense. But that makes, if that makes sense.
I saw a video the other day that said not to mix MCT oil with saturated fats. Said it creates sludge in the liver. I've been mixing MCT and butter for frozen bites. Have you heard this?
No.
I had a bad experience with MCT oil, so I don't touch it. Also, it comes from coconut oil. And so I choose to get my medium chain triglycerides from tallow, which I believe isn't, I guess I should make sure I could get my fats from tallow. I don't know. That's a good question. Is tallow an MCT or an LCT or an SCT? Well, I mean, those are all things. It's either short chain triglyceride, medium chain triglyceride, or long chain triglyceride. I don't know what.
There's more acronyms to add to our list, hey?
Right. Let me see. No, tallow is not. Tallow is, yeah.
Magic Moon says he thinks it's a short chain.
Okay.
There's Cranky son.
MCT oil is broken down in the liver directly.
Yeah,
Saturated fats are broken down in the stomach and small intestines.
Oh, that makes a good point. So yeah, so I don't think it's an MCT either. But no, so something happened with the MCT oil, and I was having it, and it was giving me migraines. It was like, because the other thing that MCT oil does is it, I think it's soluble or breaks through the blood-brain barrier, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that was the problem I was having, because it was actually giving me optical migraines, and so I had to stop that. And it was a very weird problem I was having. I haven't done it since carnivore, but when I was keto, I think I think I was just taking too much of it. And also, you want to talk about disaster pants.
Yeah,
you were taking too much of it. Right?
Yeah, too much MCT oil will turn your butt into like a squirt gun. I mean, it ain't good. That was rough.
Yeah, see, I don't have a gallbladder, and I did have it when I tried keto, and yeah, straight on the toilet. It's like, yeah, dynamite.
Yeah, I had no problem when I used it.
I did not feel good on that stuff. It reminded me, it happened so fast. It was like eating ice cream, getting a brain freeze, only worse. I was like, bad idea. Take it back. Go away. Oh, it sucked. Yeah, for sure. That's Michael's definitely gonna make that our new theme song. I'm sure of it now. I love that you can make music though on AI that's not copyrighted. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Better copyright that one now.
Good night, Alyssa. Have a good night. Let's see. Michael's a funny guy. That was hilarious though. All right, did we catch up? I'm trying to get to the bottom to make sure.
Big man.
Hey, John.
MCT oil helped me slightly when getting started, and I quickly got away from it. Bowel movements were too loose. Yeah. Definitely if you're constipated, it's a good little tip.
That's awesome. Well, good deal. Well, I think we made it through everything. I'm just making sure. All right. You said, okay, yeah, it's amazing how carnivore brings out the details of just how unique each body is. That's why I believe in intuitive eating. 100%. Yeah, heal the body and listen to its cues. We just have to get it to where we can listen to the cues, which means we have to be, we have to heal our hormones and quiet the noise. That's why I think carnivore is so effective. Now
that it's been played on our channel, it's copyrighted. We have the content ID for it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yay.
Well, bam. Well, that was fun. We made it to the end. It was awesome having Dave Mack on. Let us know in the chat if you guys liked having these interviews. We'll have more of them. Yeah.
And put in the chat who you'd like us to bring on.
Yep.
I'd love to bring on Leslie Keith again. She was amazing.
For sure. Absolutely. Let's bring her on, and then put in the chat if you have any ideas, and we will see if we're charismatic enough or big time enough to get them on. No promises, but we'll try. See if we can get them on, and it'll be fun. So, but we appreciate you guys. Wow, we went over. We've been doing this all week. We went over on our Friday live stream by a bunch too. Overtime. So we appreciate y'all. We thank you so much, and we love you, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, see ya.
Take care, guys. Have a good week.